My father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
Disney insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
Morty, let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray? Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools!
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you, always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
All right, everyone, put on your opera glasses. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shotbox now. I'm so excited.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're gonna do it!
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
They'll never take
of freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies and the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Hello, folks. Howdy. How are you? Welcome to the channel that continues to change hearts and minds simply by telling the truth. Coming to you live from somewhere moonlit USA through the TPP microphone and my salmonella-stained fingers after handling so many turkeys today. Joining us today for the very starter-rooski of the show, we've got Lorena Creole and Marvin, the movie Monster. Lorena, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I've got my Thanksgiving dinner ingredients all safe and sound.
And
We're
Lorena,
good.
tell us, please, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh, wow.
So many to choose
That-
from. So many.
Good luck.
To choose, there's so many to choose from, but I have to say good old-fashioned Southern cornbread dressing, not stuffing.
I agree with you. Dressing. And by the way, folks, there is a difference between dressing and stuffing. Stuffing goes in the turkey, and stuffing is sort of a free-form, fluffy kind of thing. Dressing, on the other hand, is in a pan. Cornbread dressing is in a pan. You cut it into squares. It's a little bit more dense, and it's a lot of work to make it, I'll tell you. Marvin, what's your favorite? What's your favorite Thanksgiving meal?
My favorite Thanksgiving meal comes after dinner's over. It's late at night when I have the first turkey sandwich of the season.
Well. Some would call you a turkey. I hope you're not going to be sacrificed upon the altar of Thanksgiving. I do get pretty stuffed on Thanksgiving. So, and we have to say, folks, as we get started, one of our fondest entertainment memories, Marvin, you brought this back to my mind the other day, is when Big Bird meets the Swedish Chef. I love it. I absolutely
watched
love
it tonight. I literally
Really?
watched it tonight. Yeah, we were putting up the tree, and that was what I put on.
Well, it's one of my absolute favorites, folks. I've got 6 turkeys in the smoker right now. Some of them are going to charitable kinds of things. Others are going to families, and so 6 are in the smoker right now, and they have all been injected with a concoction of tastiness. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how those turkeys turn out. But folks, we have a show, and I don't have to wonder how it's going to turn out as we get ready to top 300 of you already across our YouTube and X platforms. And by the way, we're going to have many more panelists joining us as the night goes on, as well as a Valiant Renegade raid that will be occurring in the very near future. All right, folks, something that's not in the near future is reading those super chats that you all have been so kind to send us. So let's get those up on the screen while we can. Take a look at this, folks. We've got Amber Peterson has become a YouTube member. Happy to have you here with us. Welcome to the party, and a party it is. We also have John, JID 999 4199, power to the 199. If you love cranberry sauce, action required.
That's a Toonie Talk. Action required. It's a Toonie Talk TV thing.
Well,
but yes, that's.
When I first
say it
saw
like
this,
a Dalek.
Well, when I first saw this, I thought I had to say it like, if you love cranberry. Never mind. We won't do it. I'll ruin the song. But you get the idea.
You got to say it like a Dalek. Action required.
Whoa, that was impressive. Wow. You know what else is impressive? Liberty Hall's cat, always here to help us out, sending in another pro membership, and that's going to come in handy, folks. Gonna come in handy, I tell you. We've also got, let's see here. We've got William Thompson coming in big time. Big hat, big cattle, big gifted memberships. And folks, there's only one way I know to celebrate such a thing. Are we ready? Do we want to start off with a little celebration before we get to news? Let's do it.
Hello there and hi there from Quick Buck Comics. We've been watching as companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, and Universal all universally suck. And then we watched as companies like Rippaverse and Big Man Comics came in to save the day. That's when we realized we could make crappy comics and do it the cheap way by not doing the hard work that Rippaverse and Big Man Comics were doing. We've got characters like John Maynard, William Thompson, and Staccato DDS. Why? Because we stole them from the WDW Pro audience. Because making characters is hard. And by the end of every comic, you get to draw your own panels. Why? Because art is hard. But please, folks, when you're done, make sure to buy our coffee that's made by someone else with our label slapped on it. Why? You guessed it. Making coffee is hard.
All right, and we've also got Mike Diglio. That's what I'm going to guess on that. Mike, you correct us in the chat if I got that wrong. Mike Diglio says, save Muppet Vision, Waka Waka.
Yeah, I totally agree. We should definitely save Muppet Vision 3D. Yeah.
Marvin, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. I definitely think we need to be saving Muppet Vision 3D.
We both went with the Steve Whitmire version. I can do the Jim Henson, but it's more nasty.
I was doing Ray Romano.
Oh. Well played. That's well played. You know what else is well played? When we have one of our esteemed guests who very rarely gets to come on the show, but will be here tonight because it's not at that normal time that we normally do the shows. Normal. So let's get someone who is definitely abnormal on the panel right now. It's Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. That's what I was hoping for.
That's Abby normal to you.
Absolutely. See what I did there? And Lauren, as you're coming in, guess what? People are celebrating your presence. Aubrey has dropped this one, 5 WDW Pro memberships to celebrate the arrival of Lauren. Lauren, every time you come on the show, I feel like we're in Cheers. You know?
You know, that's what Trisha said over on Toonie Town. Every time they come in, they all yell my name, and it's become kind of a thing. So
that's what we do.
I always saw myself more as a Cliff, but I guess if Norm's the guy I got to be, then I'll be Norm.
Well, you're like a combination of the best parts of Norm and Cliff. So, Niff you are. I don't know. Because I can't say that. No, we're not going to do the other one. By the way, folks, we've got stuffing currently in the lead. 64% of you say that stuffing is better than cornbread dressing, which, by the way, means that a substantial number of that 64% have never had cornbread dressing.
No, as a Yankee on the panel here, I have to say I have stuffing.
Well, you have stuffing because of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit too much.
Yeah. And folks, I'll say this too. I think it's a misnomer that they call it cornbread dressing because the best has biscuits in it as well. So a mix of biscuits and cornbread makes for a very fluffy cornbread dressing.
Mine gets brioche.
Go ahead.
I was going to say mine gets brioche bread and actually ground sausage.
Really? I've never thought about adding ground sausage.
And some onion and apples too. The apples really cuts it with a nice sweetness.
You know what? You are invited. Come on over, Marvin. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, folks, we have a heck of a show for you tonight. And I was telling Jonas, who will be joining us in just a little bit, that I'm shocked at how many great stories that we have to cover. And perhaps none would be better to start off with than this one about Wicked. All right, folks, here's what we've got. The Wicked ladies have gone full-blown wacko. We're going to cover it. We're going to show you what we're talking about when it comes to Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande as we get ready, by the way, to top 400 of you out there in the audience. And again, waiting on that Valiant Renegade raid that will blow up the internet to levels we have never seen before. All right, well, let's talk about Wicked and how zany they have gone. Here's the article. It is out of Variety by Rebecca Rubin. Inside Wicked's marketing blitz, how Universal courted 400 brands and was spent big to guarantee the musical was everywhere. But folks, that's really not the story. The story is that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande
are performing so poorly in the marketing of this that I think it's actually damaging the film. And we'll talk about why in a moment, but I have a theory. And so everybody, I want you to stay with me for a moment. I just want to say that I have a feeling deep inside of me, we've made that joke before, that Ariana Grande is pretending to be crazier than she actually is because she's stuck with Cynthia and she is crazy. We'll talk about it in just a moment. It says, so if you care to find Wicked, look just about anywhere. You'd have to be flattened by a farmhouse to miss the promotional onslaught for Wicked Part 1. From Starbucks drinks to Emerald City Lego sets, shiz, university sweaters at Target and OPI's Fieros, my Manny nail polish. I have no idea what those words mean strung together. Universal has partnered with more than 400 corporate brands to create scores of products and tie-ins to launch the big screen musical extravaganza. There's just one problem, and that is that the ladies who are leading this movie, they do a phenomenal job in the movie. But when unleashed upon the journalists, the yearnlists, the drive-bys, it is a different story altogether. So I want us now, because the movie's out, I want us to watch and partake in the latest of what they have done. And you all just see if you agree with me that I think Cynthia is doing this. And I think that Ariana Grande is just participating in it to play the game. And the reason I think that is because Ariana Grande never acted this way until now. Let's play it. We'll get your takes. And folks, especially panelists, you're free to disagree, but watch and let's see what happens. Here's the interview.
I'm a person. And I feel, and I have feelings, and I can share them.
And if you need to cry right now, you cry.
Yeah. And someone said to me once that the green was the thing that I would love the most about Alphabet, that I would want to stay green. Actually, being green, yes, I loved playing this character, but every time I took the makeup off, I loved who I was even more.
Can I just say, they make NPR sound loud.
Can I also say, Pro, I don't think it's possible for this woman to love herself any more than she already does, based on literally everything I've ever heard her say.
We'll continue. Self-esteem is not one of the things she needs to work on in the struggle sessions. Here we go.
So I've come away feeling really beautiful.
You fucking are.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, God.
You
absolutely.
know?
Yeah. What you've brought to this film and to these characters, you've not just taken care of them, you have transformed them for good.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is also my first time ever doing a
You
jungle.
have been the light of the day. You are such a gift.
Lorena, I gave this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really good. They're driving me crazy because, Lorena, I feel like everybody in that room is behaving as if they just cured every type of cancer that ever was known to mankind. And I'm sorry, as much as I love the movie, I just don't think it's on par with the way they're handling it. Lorena, please, if I'm wrong, share with me how I'm wrong. Please, I beg of you.
No, I actually gave this movie a 9. And for the record, you all know, I do not like musicals. They try my patience. I only like musicals if somebody's dying in it, which is why I like Phantom of the Opera, why I like Chicago. But for the most part, for normies like me with this, it's just like it's just a movie. It's a very good movie, but it doesn't exist to feed your ego. And Cynthia has a very, very big ego, and everyone, and Ariana Grande, and everyone else seems to be feeding into that. All the enablement drives me freaking crazy. Granted, there's a lot of actors that love themselves. I've been around a lot of them. But instead of having the attitude of, this movie was wonderful to work on, the director was amazing, everybody worked really hard, we're so happy, people love the film, Cynthia makes it about her. And the audience, we're not your therapist, and, your lack of self-esteem is not our problem. That is your problem. But for some reason, I think it's her problem.
It's our way to market a movie. I have never seen this attempted before, perhaps I am just of the wrong generation. Maybe this is an avant-garde, new woke era, and this is going to attract the Barbie crowd. But I want to show you all this, and I think this is why I'm worried about this film. Currently, Wicked has a $194 million, to make it easy for the math people out there, $200 million worldwide box office. Now, Valiant Renegade has estimated that this thing needs $700 million to make a profit. And the reason he's doing that is because we found out that the marketing for this film, the cost for the marketing budget is out of this world insane. You've never seen anything like it. So it needs to make $700 million. Now, normally, I would be optimistic about a musical because I think a musical can run for month after month after month, and they tend to have a very strong hold, especially with a wonderful soundtrack. And I mean, it's Wicked. So I think that this could actually outperform on the hold better than The Greatest Showman. But Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are making me have to rethink that, because every single time they go out there and they do what they do, I think about people like Lorne. Lorne, you know why I think of you? Because, Lorne, you're the kind of fella, and I may have you wrong, you may be a musical fanatic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, from way back.
Oh, yeah. Listen, he saw Cats, and he's not stopped scratching that itch yet. Here's the deal. Lorne might be persuadable if he were going with a significant other, but the more they do this, the more difficult it becomes to draw in people like Lorne or like me who are on the fence, or Lorena, who's not a musical person. The more that they act this way, the less easy it is to pull in those who are on the margin. Am I wrong, Lorne?
Well, musicals are not my thing. There's only really one musical that I can think of that I actually liked. I haven't really been paying attention to this movie. I don't really care about it one way or the other. The only thing that this marketing bit here is causing me to do is just ask, what is she wearing? This looks to me like I'm not even sure what this is. Is it a parachute? Is it a halfway reversed oversized suit? Is it
Well, Lauren, we are going to come across as fuddy-duddies who don't understand fashion whatsoever. But to me, do you remember the episode of The Office where Michael Scott has the thing on his shoulder? Do you remember that? Does anybody remember that episode?
Yeah.
He had the lifelike sculpture of himself on his shoulder. It looks like she stole the suit that allowed him to have another head on his shoulder, and she draped that, but she doesn't have the... Anyway, you get the... All right, Marvin.
Yeah. This has been just the worst press. Every time this woman opens her mouth, something dumber than the thing before. And Lorena hit it on the head. Everything is about her. It's all about her. It's all about her identity. This movie was made not to make money. It was made for Cynthia Erivo to show off and feel good about herself. She has a long-standing reputation in the theater world of being an absolute nightmare to deal with. Of being incredibly rude and abusive to stagehands, of just being the single biggest Broadway diva you could ever possibly get. And I think what we're seeing here, she's fishing for people to tell her how wonderful she is, because for somebody like her, who is the lead in this movie, and let me tell you, as somebody who saw the movie and who liked the movie quite a lot, she is overshadowed 110% by Ariana Grande in this movie. Ariana Grande is the thing everyone walks away from this movie talking about. It's driving her insane.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I would also say, man, his name escapes me. His name should never escape me. Jeff Goldblum. He's also incredible. Although I don't like what they did with the Wizard, he does well with what they've given him. Now,
he did. The one thing that I found...
Real quick, Marvin, this will be a brief one, and then you take it away. I have to say that, for me, the casting of Cynthia Erivo was always a disaster in the making. And the reason for that is because of all the characters who are supposed to be, college freshmen, she's 38 years old. Yep. So whatever you might think of her singing abilities, whatever you might think about her casting in any other way, she doesn't look like a college freshman. No. She looks like, and And it's better in some scenes because I think they went through and digitally removed some effects that give you the indication she's older. But there are particular scenes, especially where when she's in the film and she's standing next to a young person, like someone who's 21, 22, 23, who's playing that part. That's when you look and go, wait a minute, why does Elphaba look like the mom? She looks like the mom. And so that's just strange. Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I found so odd about this is that, you have Cynthia Erivo, who's a Broadway actress, and the Broadway actress tried to sound like a pop star every time she sang, and the pop star, Ariana Grande, sounded like a Broadway singer every time she sang, which I thought that was an interesting little turn of events. But from the poster situation where somebody put shadow over her eyes and she had an absolute meltdown over it, to saying that she is a better Elphaba than Idina Menzel because of her race and her sexuality, to weeping openly about how wonderful and beautiful she feels in the role. It's just a non-stop ego tour by Cynthia Erivo. And look, at the end of the day, I can't hate it because it's made me a lot of money the last couple of months.
I can't hate the film because the film is wonderful in many ways. And
the film is beautiful.
That should be $1 billion.
And she's good in it.
Yeah,
and she's good. But you know what? I can't just give it to her with this thing because Ariana Grande is guilty of it too. Every time Ariana Grande opens her mouth, it's like, I think the coat hangers in Oz are gay. Like every 2 seconds, everything's a pride parade. Everything is just this, that, and the other thing. Like and for a show that is very flamboyant but has no actual like LGBT content in it, they are trying overtime to make this movie gay.
So I've got a question because, like I said, I'm not familiar with the source material. I don't particularly care about the source material. This movie is not for me. But one of the things that the interviewer said that caught my attention and sort of raised the hackles on my neck was she said, "You have taken care of this role by transforming it." And usually that is a big red flag for me. Is this faithful to the original book and to the Broadway show? Did she actually transform the role in some way?
No. Well, the Broadway show is not faithful to the book at all. The book and the Broadway show have nothing to do with each other.
There are two separate things. But when you're talking about the actual play, which I got dragged to go see on Broadway years ago, it's pretty much the same thing. There is nothing transformative that she did. And I got to throw this in here. If Cynthia thinks she's better than Idina Menzel, why is it when that cameo happened and you saw Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth start singing, and it was just like, Cynthia who? I'm like, yeah, I remember these two women. I remember this. She didn't transform it at all. That was just
Tell me what you think about this, Lorena. I thought that when Idina Menzel and Kirsten, is it Kirsten, not Kristen Chenoweth?
I don't know. I always thought it was Kristen Chenoweth, but
I thought it was Kristen.
Okay, Chenoweth.
I got the last name right.
Yeah, the hardest name. I got that one. I thought when they came on for their cameo, I thought that it was like if you had been watching a very good college football team, and everybody now knows I'm outed as I'm using a college football analogy for Wicked. They're like, oh my God, it's a dude-splaining. Okay, but just hang with me, folks. When it was like you had been watching a college football team, and then when Idina Menzel and Chenoweth come out and they open their mouths and start singing, it's like, oh, there's the NFL. Like,
yes.
Yes. And all of the world that you had been inhabiting that you were like, oh, this is really good. This is fantastic. Then you heard them and you went, and that is a whole level of different good. That is, we are in a different league of fantastic. I now know why this was popular.
It reminds me of watching WWE when The Rock shows up. Because all of a sudden you realize that all the guys that you watch don't hold the candle to him in terms of showmanship and charisma. I was at the point where I literally turned to my wife and I said, why didn't they just digitally de-age Idina Menzel and let her be? Because she wanted to do it. Idina Menzel was very open about the fact that she desperately wanted to be Elphaba in this movie, but they told her she was too old.
And I mean, it's like, yeah, I get that part. But I know for me, as someone who saw the musical, and full disclosure, I fell asleep like the first act of the movie, and I woke up in time to hear, Defying Gravity and see the rest of it. when they showed up, the first thing I thought was, one, the experts are here on stage, and I'm just like, this reminds me of it. I granted, I don't like musicals at all, and like I said, I got dragged to this one, but I know talent when I see it, and you could just feel the whole film get elevated for that particular cameo. It was
Idina Menzel,
brilliant how they did it.
Idina is a superstar, 100%. And I think Ariana Grande is a superstar too, I think. Because here's the thing that why I think she's so effective in this is she found a way to kind of take this character and play it halfway between Kristen Chenoweth and herself. Because as we know, Ariana Grande is actually a fantastic impressionist.
Yes, absolutely. And she's shown that on SNL before. Absolutely.
SNL on late night. I mean, she's a fantastic musical impressionist, like one of the best I have personally ever seen.
So I kind of feel like we're focusing on the wrong thing here, though. We're focusing on the marketing and how they're acting in public while trying to promote this movie. But you guys have all given the movie high marks. At least I think you have. Right. Pro and Robin, yes. You said it's great. Lorena, you liked it too?
Great. I've liked it too, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that seems to me to be the real story here, is that even though they're going off the rails on their marketing and promotion, this is a rare case where you've actually got a good movie out in theaters that people like. Well, and what's impressive about that, Lorena, is that you, like me, are not inclined to like musicals. So if you're giving it a high score, that's high praise. That's something that actually we should probably be focusing on.
Well, yeah, I gave it a lot of high praise on technical merit, between the costuming, between the choreography, because I used to be a dancer, so I love choreography, the cinematography, how the directing was done, how the special effects were done, how the CGI was done. So on technical merit, it's beautiful. I couldn't find any flaw with it from that perspective. So even though they made this film, literally, they made this film for all the theater kids and the folks who just loved Wicked and had to, shut their trap when they wanted to sing while watching this movie. If you're just a movie aficionado, you'll just look at it like, yeah, this actually looks pretty good. This story is actually pretty good.
I knew how all in Universal was on this when I went to Universal Studios and I saw that they had closed not one but two gift shops and put them together and turned them into a permanent Wicked gift shop location.
I see what I see with Lorena. She's already got merch.
Yep, I got merch.
That much.
I had to.
Did you get that from the store at Universal?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So let me give some gentle pushback to Lauren for a minute. Lauren, I guess what I'm trying to aim at here, and maybe stumble into it a bit, is the idea that this is a really, really good movie. And in fact, well, hang on, I'll come to that point in just a moment. It's a really, really good movie. I think it's an easy $1 billion movie if you market it well. But they're making it hard to hit the billion, and it's driving me nuts. And it's driving me nuts for these cinema owners who need this to win. And not just win a little, but win big. Now, here's the point that I held up on just a second. We have two films out right now that are complete inversions of that phenomenon. With Wicked, we have a fantastic movie with terrible marketing. With Moana 2, we have a terrible movie with fantastic marketing. And we're going to find out which one of those is better than the other. Like, can you put out just a turd sandwich, but it's on every radio station and it's the top of the social media charts? Is that good? Like, because I don't think it should be good. But is it? I don't know. We're going to find out because these are absolute opposites from one another. Lorena, you've seen both. Am I wrong in that assessment?
No, you were not. You were not wrong. Moana 2 was an absolute turd. It really is. This movie, it is awful. We didn't learn anything whatsoever new about Moana. Lazy writing, and I kept looking at my watch for that film. Like, is this over yet? Because this is freaking torture, and I cannot stand it. And I loved the original Moana film. Loved it. Loved the songs, loved the story.
It's
all of that. It's a perfect 10. I loved it, and it pissed me off what they did in Moana 2 that basically destroy what happened in a way. With Wicked, again, on technical merit, looks good, sounds good, the story is good, the choreography is great. Director did a fabulous job. Even though I don't like musicals, it's good. The marketing blitz, I'm getting a little tired of hearing the Wicked soundtrack when I go to Target, but can't knock the fact that Wicked merchandise sold like crazy. There was nothing left whatsoever for that.
So I'm going to posit something here, and that's I agree with you, Pro, that they're probably mucking up the marketing thing, and that's going to affect the total take. But the reason that I suggest we focus on the fact that this is apparently a good movie is that we are getting so few of those. I think that you're right that Moana is probably going to do just fine, at least in the opening, because obviously it's got that name behind it and people want to see it. But I think that most movies that end up having legs are the ones that have the positive word of mouth. And if this thing has positive word of mouth, even if they pull it from the theaters early, it'll draw that attention in streaming when it hits there. It could be something like you saw with Encanto, because that was the draw there, was the music. So I think, granted, if they've screwed up the marketing, that's bad. But if they produced a good movie, if it's got a good story, if it's got good production, if it's got good costumes, if it's got all of that stuff, that's something to be celebrated because we want to see good movies, and we're getting darn few of them.
And I'm here to join you in celebrating Wicked. It is a wonderful film. And again, folks, 8.5 out of 10 here on this channel. Lorraine gave it a 9 out of 10. And we just hope that Cynthia will help Universal and cinema owners get the win. All right, folks, we've got to get to some super chats that are coming in. Before we do, I just want to say that in the live chat, we posted a link, and it's been a while now. We'll put it out there one more time, just in case there are any gifted Patreon memberships still available. Give me just a second, folks. We'll have to get that in just a minute for you. Discovered we don't have that ready to go. This is what happens when Jonas is not here to help me out, but he'll be here momentarily. All right, folks, here it is, coming out there one last time. If you've not yet received a free Patreon membership, 20 of them were given away. Link is right there in the chat. Check and see if there are any left at all. We put that out there for those who were actively in the chat so that they could enjoy them. It's a little Thanksgiving gift from us to you. All right, folks, we've got tons of news on the way, but first, your super chats need to be on the screen, and here we go. From Closet Disney Nerd, power to the 199, wishing the WDW Pro team a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Disney Nerd. And
likewise.
And remember, please, calories do not count tomorrow. Have fun with the casserole. Tennille 89, Tennille the 10th, as we call him around here, 410, which is apropos. If they're going to project their therapy sessions onto an audience, then why do we have to pay for it? Only thing uglier than that nose ring is her poor attitude. Could curdle milk. Oh, don't do that to the milk. Don't do it to the milk. All right. Well, Tennille, I think that it's much better for celebrities to try to win over people with a positive attitude and a pleasantness that speaks to the gratuitousness that is their fortune in life. So hopefully Cynthia will do better in the future, and Ariana will help her go in that direction. That would be wonderful. From Araxis for 2. Hey, Pro, you missed one of the earliest super chats. Araxis, we're aware that we may have missed some that came in way before the show started. As soon as Jonas arrives, we're going to get him on his magical super producer powers to go up there and see if he can find those. I don't currently have access to them, but once he gets here, we're going to investigatify what's going on and fixify it as fast as we can. A little bit of wicked verbiage there for you folks. Tennille 89, a.k.a. dislikes puns for 10 again. I've seen coverage of Western war correspondents in Ukraine that looked less frail after experiencing a firefight. I guess Cynthia took that to heart by wearing so much shrapnel in her face and hands. Oh, that's a brutal super chat. Poor Cynthia.
I know dietitians though who are literally concerned for Ariana Grande right now. Like they're looking at the way she looks in these press briefings, and they're like, she is it's classic malnutrition.
She's way too thin.
And we're not trying to be mean. That's the difference here too.
It's concern. It's concern because like she might pass out. She could serious health complications.
Right. And, I would just say, too, that there have been times in the past when celebrities had appearances and we thought, oh, well, they're just playing a part. And then we find out, no, there was a serious issue. And so if there is a serious issue, we hope that she gets help. And folks out there, if you have some of those kinds of concerns in your life, make sure to reach out to people who can help you get the help you need. All right, continue right along. We've got Dan's Life at the Kingdom. $1.99. Moana 2 would be better with 2 moving okras. Marvin, you did such a great job of naming those Tiana's Bayou Adventure animatronics. You named him Okra Winfrey. I thought it was brilliant.
Did I do that?
You did that.
I don't even remember.
Well, now that you don't remember it, I'm going to take credit for it.
Okay.
Tennille, the 10th, for AKA Dislike Puns, $2. Marvin knows my disdain for Cynthia. We could not tell.
It's been made
really?
well evident.
Could not tell at all. It was very difficult to suss that out. All right, take a look at this too. We've got Ryan Matheson who says, I got Patreon for 1 month free. Thanks, Pro. Absolutely. And folks, by the way, I believe it's 11 o'clock tonight, way later than usual. But we've had some information that has come our way regarding Captain America 4, Brave New World. It goes beyond what we can say on YouTube right now. But at that late-breaking hour, go check out the Patreon. If you're not yet a member and you didn't get a gifted membership, go ahead and pick one up because we're going to have that news coming down on the Patreon at 11 p.m. tonight. Folks, after the Pro Show today, we're going to be having something very special. It's a Merry, Merry Pro Christmas, and you're going to be redirected to it. It's going to be over on Vacation Radio, but we've worked very hard with a team of musicians to craft song after song, and I'm going to be commentating on it. Christmas song after Christmas song. And so we can't wait to bring that to you, just like Danny Kaye and Bing together again. And looking forward to doing that. But folks, I just hate to do this because you all are so jolly and kind. You know what? I won't pull up Zegler. It's the next story. I won't do it. I can't do it. I shan't. We'll go to William Thompson first to buy ourselves time so that we can prepare ourselves for the Snow White saga that continues on. William Thompson for 10. Since I'm 53 and a man, I will not be seeing Wicked or Moana, but I still want to see the theater succeed. By the way, where's my favorite YouTuber, Michelle? Oops, I meant Jonas Campbell. Both may be joining us later, and we will look forward to having them. You may see some additional panelists join, although we love our panelists we currently have because they're the best in the biz. All right, let's go to our next story. We've bought as much time as we can, but folks, we have to grin and bear it, and that is Zegler. Zegler's back. Back again. Zegler's back. Zegler's back. And not in a way that Disney wants, because apparently Disney doesn't want to show this on YouTube. So, folks, we'll show it. We'll show it, darn it. Disney won't, but we won't be stopped. You'll notice that the trailer we're about to watch and commentate on is from Disney's Trailers. It has a grand total of 20 subscribers. But little bitty Disney's Trailers with 20 subscribers has more chutzpah than the actual Walt Disney Company. They still will not put Snow White out on YouTube because they're terrified of the dislikes. But let's watch.
Well, you can see it on this video. 1.3K dislikes to like 140 likes.
Well,
it's already happening.
All right, folks, we're going to play parts of the Snow White trailer with Zegler. It took us this long because we had to make sure that we can play it because it's not clear to us whether it's released or not. I mean, it's out there. It's playing before Moana 2. It's playing before Wicked, but it's not allowed on YouTube. But it's on YouTube with other sources, and I don't know. We'll play it, though. We'll take the chance.
Oh, slight correction. They did not play it when I went to go see Moana 2.
Well,
they didn't play it in front of Wicked either when I saw it.
Okay, so we all have different experiences. They did not play it for me before Wicked. They did before Moana 2. They played it before, or they didn't play it before Wicked, but they did before Moana 2 for Lorena, and they didn't at all for Marvin. Do I have that right?
Correct.
It's a mixed up, wacky world with Rachel Zegler. Here we go.
was my father's kingdom.
By the way, that opening shows the confirmation of what we reported about a year ago, that they are not confident in Zegler, go figure. And so they gave a huge part of the screen time to the little girl that you see. Let me back it up. That little girl is going to get a musical number in Snow White because they really know. Oh, yeah. They know that Zegler's unpopular. Here we go.
Place of fairness. Let the queen change everything.
Oh, Gal looks so good.
What did you say?
She really does look good.
The people need
Looks
some
just
kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest
Oh,
of them?
gorgeous.
Yeah. Let's just go back for a second. All right. You're telling me Zegler is going to beat Godot in Fairest.
I legitimately think that this mirror is just so tired of this narcissist coming up to it day in and day out and being like, tell me I'm really pretty. And they're like, no, you know what? Today I'm going to tell you this Lord Farquaad looking dame is prettier than you because I'm tired of this.
You know who I
Stop
think is
asking.
really, you know who I think is really the fairest of the land? This guy.
Yay!
It's Jay, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Jay. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
3PO in the house.
Thank you for the invite. Sorry, I'm on my mobile setup,
Oh.
so I hope I sound okay.
Well, you know, this just saves you from the punishment we're all receiving because we're all in our studios and we're seeing the Snow White trailer and reacting to it in full HD, and you're just seeing it on your itty bitty little screen,
Yeah,
if at all.
I see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Full stunning and brave HD.
Yeah, what a way to be welcomed in. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, 3PO. All right, continuing on with this beautiful, wicked, evil queen. Here we go.
Of them all.
Famed is thy beauty, majesty. The lovely maiden I now behold.
And look at you.
I like that Snow White, she gives bread to the prince now. That's her role, giving bread to nobility cast away. It's going to follow the story exactly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I have that
Follow
same
it.
origin story with a couple of ducks that used to live behind my parents' house.
Uh-oh.
And I just want to be the fairest of them all.
Do you all see what's happening here? They've switched it so that the fairest is talking about being fair to people, like being just to people. That's how they've switched it. Is that how it was in the original? Is that what fairest meant? I'm confused.
No, that was not in the version that I have in my Grimm's fairy tales. Absolutely not.
Oh boy. So the fairest is now the most just, which confirms more of the rumors that we'd heard. Here we go. But folks, I'll say this before we keep playing. The rumors that we had from so long ago, and Jay, I know you've covered these as well, the idea that Snow White was going to be a socialist liberator.
Yeah.
They're actually going to do it. We'll watch. Here we go.
Good for them.
The queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
My parents always said this forest was a magical place.
I'm going to tell you one thing. If a turtle ever looks at me that way, I have had something really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that turtle. That is the happiest little fella you've ever seen in your life. But it's
like
a creepy happy.
Looks like Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda.
It looks like that turtle and that chipmunk have been doing something. They've been caught in a very inappropriate way. And I don't know, there's just a look on their faces that is uncannily terrifying. Like, what are you two up to? What have you been doing over there? Jeez Louise, what mushrooms are in the forest?
Hello? Is there anybody here?
Oh, here they come.
The ugly CGI.
I feel like Ziegler has defiled a Thomas Kincaid painting. Lorena, what do you got?
I was about to say the same about that lighting, and I do not like Thomas Kincaid. This lighting is awful. I'm going to keep saying this because this ticks me off. Her dress is horrible, and it's not even the animated movie accurate. dress either.
Well, let me tell you something, and Jay, let me get your thoughts on this. Originally, in this film, we know that it had the dirty hobbits, not the dirty hobbits, the dirty hobos, right? The smelly, dirty hobos. We saw the pictures of them.
Yeah.
And then they've come in and they've done the CGI, and now we have these CGI monstrosity dwarves, because actually hiring real people who have real dwarfism or who are little people of any kind, you can't do that because inclusion means exclusion these days. But Jay, this appears to me to be a physical set. And the hobos would not have been sleeping in dopey, sneezy, and happy beds. So I'm thinking that they had to construct completely new sets for these reshoots. Like, this film has been totally redone all over again. I can't even imagine what the budget must be.
Oh, I agree. I think there has been massive reshoots, and like they're trying to play as safe as possible. So instead of hiring little people, let's just make them CGI. Then everybody's happy. So, and let's just redo the whole thing. It's insane.
Hey, Pro, did you notice that Peter Dinklage was in Wicked and the Munchkins were not little people?
I did. I wanted to talk about it in my review, and I just thought, I'm happy I saw a good movie. I'm just going to let it be. But yes,
yep, let it go.
The little guy is a goat, and the people who are supposed to be little people are not allowed to be little people no mo. So, sorry, Munchkins. Sorry, Munchkins. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Can I just say that they all freaking look the same for the most part? Just a little bit of a difference, but
weird.
They look
like
very,
Shrek.
very. It looks worse than Shrek.
They look
worse than Shrek 1.
They are more disconcerting than the Polar Express.
Ooh.
Oh, I hope they have these at the park walking around.
Oh, could you imagine?
Like little people with
my
giant
gosh.
heads scaring kids. That'd be great.
Hey, we don't want to see a slaughter, and we know that there would be somebody who would have a very negative reaction to whatever these are and be like, "No, go away from me, you tiny demon!" They're terrifying, man. They're terrifying. They look like octogenarian infants in their little onesies.
This actually doesn't bother me so much, but what does is how much different Dopey looks from the other ones.
Oh, Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, it's like his head is like normal size, while everybody else's is not. It's like he's sneaking into the dwarves.
Well, they're dwarfs, and he's an elf.
There you go. Okay, I guess.
Wait, Lord, are you saying that Dopey's like an actual little person who's just trying to pass with these magical dwarves?
Something like
Hoping
that. Yeah,
nobody
it's like-
notices.
right. That's kind of the impression I get. It's like he's just snuck in here, and they're all pretending they don't notice. They're humoring him for some reason.
You know it's going to be a great movie when we can stop and mock it, even in the parts where Zegler is not. That's the sign of a great movie on the way. Here we go. That's the reaction of every audience that will go to see this movie.
I don't remember the dwarves being in their long john pajamas.
After a hard day in the mine, they get in their onesies and they cuddle, okay? It's a modern era retelling of a story.
Hot, steamy dwarf action in red onesies.
Okay, I need brain bleach now. Anyway.
Oh Lord.
What? Why?
Wait, it's a human. What did you think I was? Nothing. Ghost.
Nothing smug about that line.
Marvin, are you doing the voice of Grumpy? Because it sounded like you when he said ghost.
Yes, I this entire time I've been pulling the wool over all your eyes.
Okay. All right, continuing on.
You'll be safe from the Queen here.
The Queen stole everything from all of us. We're gonna need your help.
So now she's going to lead the dwarfs in a socialist liberation of the German kingdom. Folks, let me say it again for you out there so you understand just what a steaming dumpster fire this is. Snow White in red is going to liberate Germany in a socialist movement. Okay, folks, think about it. Don't say it. Just think about it. Let's just all think about it.
It's time to restore our kingdom.
Waiting on a wish, holding out for someday, hoping somehow, some way, there comes a miracle.
Find Snow White.
I close my eyes and see.
Well, she's a happy Farquaad. She's a happy Farquaad.
Yeah, she's a well. You know what? She's Farquaad, and the dwarves look like CGI from Shrek. It all kind of comes together if you think about it.
I'll tell you this. So Jim Shull, people can go look this up. Jim Shull is a former Imagineer, well known, and he said that this is unwatchable.
Yeah.
So when you have your Imagineers saying that what you've put out is punishment, like people can't even get through it, it really says something. And after having suffered through Moana 2, and Jay, I don't know, have you seen Moana 2 yet?
I apologize. I have not.
I don't recommend that you do. I don't recommend.
You didn't miss anything. Don't.
I appreciate it. I usually like when Lorena posts, like I love her little Twitter, unbiased review, biased reviews. Like those are my favorite. I usually follow along. I was like, cool.
Lorena, you did a 4 and a 2. Can you explain that real quick?
Oh, for Moana? Yeah, I gave it a 4 because, first of all, the animation was impeccable.
Wow.
That was the only thing from the original movie that actually looked plussed up a bit because the technology has evolved. So that was perfect. It was still a half-assed job that they did. So I gave it a 4 out of 10. I gave it a 2 out of 10. 1, because it hardly did anything with the film, and 2, they did 2 obvious DEI inserts that I didn't take too well and that I didn't appreciate.
Now, what part are you talking about?
Well, there's 2 parts. The one where Moana sees this boat coming because, she's down the mountain and they've got it all restored and all the people are coming back. So you see the one boat that's approaching where she is, and they're just like, people. And I'm thinking, oh, this is great. First contact. Are they going to have a different boat? Are they going to have different clothes? Are they even going to have the same language to speak? First contact situation, all that. Boat shows up, and a black guy in dreads gets off of it.
Right, in the middle of Polynesia.
In the middle of Polynesia, the South Sea.
Why can't they ever just let Asian characters just like have just exist in their in where they're supposed to be without having to insert others into it? Why?
I just, what? I guess to feel like they did something, but for your normal people who know that Moana is set in the South Pacific, where the heck are you going to get black people from Africa showing up?
Well,
all right, that makes no
It was
that makes no sense.
The next boat could be Vikings or could be Mongolians. You just never know.
Yeah, I'm just bring everybody, to the party. But in Moana 2, you never truly saw the antagonist. You never truly saw the big bad. So do you know what they showed us in the mid-credit scene?
What did they show us?
The big bad looks like Mabutu from Black Panther.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I say if the villain is not in the movie proper, there's no villain. Like you can't come back in the end credits and be like, oh, see, we did have a villain. We didn't use him. He's not in there, but he's still there. He's still there. Like, no, I'm sorry. That's where you put shawarma. All right, let's keep shawarming on with this. Here we go.
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
She is literally leading a socialist battle against the monarchy. That is the story of modern Snow White. Taking back the kingdom in a socialist liberating effort in
Germany. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Places.
A national movement, one might say.
You could not make this up. Like if you tried to write a parody, you could not do this any better.
You were saying. I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
All right, you notice there too, there's one 2-second portion of the trailer where they show her and the prince in sort of a romantic situation. I think that's there to let people know, oh yeah, we're gonna get the prince in there. We're gonna get the prince. No worries.
It's still Snow White, everybody.
Yep.
Do you think she bites the apple like halfway through the movie and then wakes herself up and then leads the revolution? Or do you think she leads the revolution, goes home, and then the apple happens?
Well, if it's anything like Moana 2, it'll be 1 hour straight of absolutely nothing, and then we'll get 25 minutes of everything plus eating apples.
Yes. You're missing the point.
Oh, no.
She was bringing food to the prince. She gives the apple to the prince because he's been an ineffective leader who hasn't been able to overthrow the queen. And when he's asleep, she goes and liberates the country.
Ah.
Oh,
Now
that might
I get
happen,
it.
Lauren. That might happen. We haven't seen her like in the glass coffin or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not going in. She's not going in no glass coffin. She don't need no man, and she don't need no glass coffin.
She's going to have to wake up the prince.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
100% right.
Oh, please let that be true.
Remember in Enchanted? Remember when Enchanted at the end when Giselle has to like save McDreamy from the dragon, and it was like it worked because it was like specifically turning it on its head. That's no longer turning it on its head. Like
Right.
in modern day, like
It's gonna create a
somebody who's
trope.
never seen Enchanted before and sees it today is just going to be like, yeah, of course she does.
Right, right.
You
And
know
back
what's
then it was
crazy?
edgy.
You know what's crazy? And I'm gonna ask Lorena because she's actually been more than I have because I've been away. They're not promoting this in the parks at all. At least I haven't seen. Normally they've had like at least for Lilo and Stitch and others, they got posters up, especially in Hollywood studios and other things like that. And they also bring out the characters for people to come. I mean, they did that with the Little Mermaid. When the Little Mermaid was there, you could meet the live action version of the Little Mermaid was in Hollywood studios before the movie came out, and they had posters promoting it and stuff hung up in all the theme parks. Ever since her Free Palestine comment, I haven't seen nothing. At least but Lorena can help me out with that one, but
there is nothing. You would never know that this movie was coming.
look at that.
Not only
Like,
that, Lorena, but one man's dream isn't showing any kind of preview. You can still meet the live action Little Mermaid at One Man's Dream. They have not moved her in or anything like that. And this movie is coming very, very soon.
Well,
Nothing.
let's be real too. I mean, honestly, if you're standing there, let's say it's Epcot, and you see on the left side that you can go meet the traditional Snow White, or you could meet this Farquaad-esque Rachel Zegler version. What kid is going to be like, Mommy, I want to see the Rachel Zegler Snow White. I want to go see the Socialist Liberator Snow White. Battle Snow White.
if they were smart, they would have the evil queen out there at Epcot.
Yeah, that would work. That would work much better.
We can't go see this. We can't go see the Socialist Snow White, Timmy. We have reservations to go see the male evil queen.
Yeah,
they can't do that. And kids are brutally honest. They will call that crap out.
We all know
that's
that
not Snow White.
kids are never going to want to go see that Snow White because they're going to fear that those onesie infantile dwarfs will be there to haunt their nightmares for the next 10 years. Like, they might be hiding behind her dress, so Mommy, don't take me anywhere. That turtle might be there. Keep me away from that freaking turtle.
Bro, this scene right there, where that blue bird lands on her finger briefly, all I could think about in that freeze frame that we were at for so long when she was doing this face was if you cut those two scenes together, I swear to God, it looks like she just ate that bird and was in the process of swallowing it.
Gosh, one of those dwarves look like Culture Casino. Go back a little bit. The first one that comes through the door.
Hang on a second. We got to find Culture.
The first one
All right.
that comes through the door there right after this scene, you have to pause it.
All right,
Tell
watch
me that
Culture.
doesn't coming right up.
All
Oh,
right.
I think they put her to bed.
She's letting all the vermin. She's letting all the vermin into their house.
Goes to sleep. Here he comes. Look at that.
Culture. You're right.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
He just needs the glasses.
With no mustache though, so it's like Amish culture.
He betrayed us. He betrayed us all. He was on our panel. He was one of us. And now he's in the Snow White movie all along. Should have seen it coming. Great pickup, Jay. Great pickup. By the way, it's a great pickup out there to see so many of you joining us from the Valiant Renegade Raid. Happy to have more than 800 people now watching across not only YouTube, but the fruited plains of X, courtesy of one Elon Musk. It's a joy to have you all joining us. Let's get to some super chats before we go to the next story of the day, or as Lloyd might say from Dumb and Dumber, the super chats du jour. Here we go, folks. Here's what we've got. From Araxis. For 2, Captain Falcon, Brave New World Order. Falcon sucks. That's my Super Smash Brothers.
Well, that movie's a mess.
Yeah. Getting worse, by the way. Also, Master of Puppets, member for 4 months. In this movie, Gal Gadot is far fairer than Zegler. Yes.
Yes, she is. I'm looking forward to just seeing Gal Gadot, especially how she's dressed up as an evil queen. Isn't it kind of wrong when you're rooting for the bad guy?
I'm not sure she's bad. Anybody who stops those darn ugly dwarfs, I'm all for it, because those are PTSD in
nightmare fuel.
From Jacob Foxfire, 964 for 5. How does this inspire the Disney joy we used to have? It all feels fake and AI generated. Maybe worse, it just doesn't feel right. Well, they could have not done any of that by just having real people play the dwarfs. They didn't want to, because you're not allowed to. Dwarfs not allowed in Hollywood these days. Sorry, get out of here. What are you guys doing? Go and Shogi, $4.99. I bet money there's a girl boss moment where she rips her sleeves off. Oh, those puffy sleeves. They'll want the symbolism of destroying the classic dress.
That's a good point.
That'll be after she kisses the prince. But she's not going to kiss the prince on the lips when she does this.
If they destroy that dress, do you know how much merchandising goes out the window?
Lorena, wait a minute. Lorena, she doesn't kiss the prince. She slaps him awake. He's in a coma because he had the apple, and she slaps him because she's slapping the patriarchy. Yes? Maybe? No? Okay.
I can't.
Osmora 199, power to the 199, has gifted a WDW Pro membership. So happy to have that gifted membership. Thank you so much. Morning Hayes, member for 14 months. Wicked and Mirror Mirror are written by Maguire. You betcha. Pet Brett has gifted 10 WDW Pro memberships. That is very, very kind. You know what? We haven't done this in a bit. Folks, for all the gifted memberships, here's a wee bit of celebration.
The crab people shall finally reign supreme!
Crab people, crab. Those crab people, they ruin everything. They're probably behind
always
us.
popping up.
Always popping up. Ugh.
Crabs always show up when you least want them.
That's true. And crabs are not allowed during Thanksgiving. It's a turkey kind of day. JK, for 2, they didn't even try and downplay Gal's looks.
No, she looks fabulous.
Fabulous. Too tired for 5. If Zegler wakes up the prince, I hope everyone questions the lack of his consent. Poor guy going to join the Me Too's out there. Too tired. I only wish you had heard us talking about her slapping the spit out of the prince before you sent this in. I look forward to more people discussing the chance of her slappifying him into consciousness. Osmora 199 has gifted another pro membership. Thank you so much. And Samuel Main, the same. Very kind and very much appreciated. We hope you get extra gravy with your turkey tomorrow, just for that. Change of ways for 2. Why don't they cancel instead of reshoot 20 times? Well, when it comes to Captain America 4, we're starting to wonder that as well. Snow White is in that same category. Araxis for 5. Let's see. At the Godless Vulcan is right. The Ramstein music video of Snow White looks better. I think it's more accurate than this. Marvin, what are you laughing about? What do you got, Marvin?
I've seen the Rammstein music video.
Well, which is better?
I have not.
The Rammstein music video tells a better story, and it's in German. Here comes die Sonne.
All right. Well, normally we were going to the next story, but when we see a familiar name such as this, we just have to get it before we continue on. John Maynard, member for 14 months. I wish that the CFO would acknowledge that it would be much more intelligent to write this movie off, because this is going to cause irreparable brand damage to Disney. And John Maynard in with a gifting of 20 WDW memberships. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Wow.
John, to go back to your comment, Disney is contractually obligated to put this out in theaters now in such a way that it would be incredibly painful for them to not. However, John, I think, is right, and this deserves some analysis from the panel. I think we're reaching the point now where whatever punitive damage they would receive from theaters for not releasing it might pale in comparison to putting it out there and having people despise what they've done. I don't know. Panel, what do you think?
I mean, I think at this point you have to put it out. It leaves a big hole in the schedule. Yeah, I don't think after sinking all that money into it, they have to recoup at least something, and they have to be. They have to look at it and be like, well, what will we make more on, the tax break, or what we'll make by actually putting it out in theaters? And yeah, it's. I mean, it's gonna be bowling shoe ugly, but it's not. I don't think gonna be ugly enough where the tax break would be more lucrative. Batgirl was, but we saw what Warner Brothers went through when they got rid of Bat. And the other thing is, if they don't release this, the incredibly loud, the wokies are going to come out of the woodwork, and they're going to be slamming them nonstop for it.
I think we're also maybe looking at this the wrong way. Who's the target audience for the movie, legitimately?
Oh, I don't know anymore.
I haven't the foggiest.
It's definitely not for little girls who remember Snow White, or even for big girls like me who.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. It's little girls who don't know the original story of Snow White.
But then you see the dwarves, and you're like, okay, well, what little girl wants to be in the same dark room with those things?
I don't think they'll care. I think this is for little girls who are not familiar with the original version of the story. They just care about a movie that's bright and fun and has musical numbers. That's the target audience. And so, while yes, they're going to take some reputational damage for this, I think the calculation that Disney makes is that if the audience that they're targeting is illiterate to the source material, maybe over time, as they get older, they'll remember this as the source material, and it will be valuable down the line.
That, sir, is a nightmare that I cannot even comprehend. And I can only hope that when the little children see those dwarves appear for the first time, that cries go out in the theater with little kids screaming, "Kill it, Mommy, kill it. No, no."
There's two things to think of. It's like, remember, why did Disney always adapt material that was in the public domain? So they wouldn't have to pay the actual people who developed the source material. The other thing is, the political ideology that is behind this is all about erasing history and supplanting it with their own. That's what's happening here.
Good points, all. You know what's a good point, though? John Maynard has gifted 20 memberships.
Oh, my goodness.
Of one of our most here. Let's watch. Let's get to shilling, shall we?
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what?
Let's go!
Jabba, right?
Oh no!
It's Sarlacc!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys, this.
Wow.
I just like, as the gaming industry collapses, I just like to go look and see who are the people who helped make it happen. And then I go watch those shills. It's such a joy.
Hey,
By the way,
everybody.
welcome Jonas J. Campbell to the panel.
Yeah. Good
Jonas?
Jonas, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just, I was at church. I don't know what you heathens were doing, but here I am now.
Blaspheming, watching tiny little people in onesies run around with pickaxes. Normal stuff.
Yeah, were they socialist little people?
They'll become that way. Give them time. Hey, Jonas, we've got a question that's really important. It was at the beginning of the show. I need to know what your thoughts are on this. Which one do you take for your Thanksgiving meal? Traditional stuffing or cornbread dressing?
I take whatever I am served because I am a fine young man who is raised respectably. So whatever my mom puts on my plate, whatever my wife puts on my plate, I say, thank you very much. I appreciate you. So I'm pretty easy to please in that way.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's someone out there joining the panel right now who I fear that when it comes to Thanksgiving, he may be a jambalaya or a gumbo man. Welcome, folks. He's your favorite Cajun. He's Valiant Renegade. Welcome, sir.
Hey,
How y'all
Valerie.
How y'all doing? Lorraine, it's good to see you. And Jonas, you know, your wife and I, we are putting Captain America 4 on your plate in February, so go ahead and eat that.
Eat that is probably the best way to describe that film.
I believe an alternative dish is Paddington 3.
By the way, actually, those Paddington films are fantastic. So
I like those.
How cruel is it that Disney is self-damaging themselves by putting out Captain America 4 and then Snow White in back-to-back months? Like, how much do they hate themselves doing that? I don't even.
How great would it be if Paddington actually beats Captain America in theaters because they come out on the same day?
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know,
think
but wouldn't it be great?
Paddington, I think feasibly could absolutely beat Cap 4 in the UK, but I don't know about here in the States. But you know, look, I talked about this earlier on the live show that we just wrapped up on my channel, and I was sitting there recanting the hilarity that was the Comcast earnings call when the investment analysts were questioning, as Jonas will remember quite.
Yes.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, it's, you know, questioning the. So wait a minute. We're spending $150 million to promote the opening of Epic Universe. Is that all going to be in the second fiscal quarter? Is that going to continue? Because that's a lot of money. And I'm thinking, you freaking idiots have no idea. Like, these questions never come up for places like Disney or anything else. They didn't even question the fact, or will they, that Comcast just dropped $150 million promoting Wicked. Mm-hmm. And that's not even doing that well compared to what they spent. I'm sorry, it really is not.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
That's in tandem with the $350 million marketing cross promotion with their partners like Target that came in $500 million to promote Wicked. And at this point, it might not get much past that in the gross box office for its whole run.
And Valiant, the sad thing is, this is what we were talking about earlier, it should clear $1 billion, but Cynthia and Ariana cannot get out of the way so that this movie can succeed. It's bizarro. So strange.
I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is the fact that they broke this into two pieces. I think that was a big mistake. The first part is 3 hours long. It's now going to be losing a significant number of PLF screens this weekend, having to bow to Moana 2, which may or may not leg out well based on what we've heard on it. You know, visually stunning, but lacking in story and character and music. That's been the prevailing thought that I've heard repeated since Alan Ng on the Sunday show, and it seems to be everywhere else. So I don't think it's a fluke what he said. But yeah,
Moana's down to 66% Valiant. I was just checking this. I wondered. I don't think it can stay fresh. I think it's going to be a rotten.
No, it's going to go lower.
Yeah.
The more word of mouth gets out over this weekend.
You saw it, Lorena, right?
Yes, I did.
I saw it today. Or you saw
no,
it
I saw
night?
it. No, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it last night.
Last night. Okay. I thought I saw you. Yeah. I know you posted something. I can't remember if it was today or last night, but yeah, I think your reaction seemed to be, and I haven't seen it. I don't really have any intention of seeing it, you know, to be fair, but I mean, I'm not the target audience either. But your reaction seemed to be the same reaction or very similar to what I've heard from pretty much everybody else. So it's kind of meh.
Moana is an interesting film because what they're trying to do here is say, based on the love of the brand and based on tremendous marketing, can we make a movie that has the quality of Lightyear or Strange World succeed?
Ooh.
And that's a really interesting experiment that we'll find out. I don't know the answer to it. Like, can you take something that people truly love and just make it suck? By the way, we always have to break when this happens. Jonas, we've got something that requires us to stop.
Oh, I guess I'm on the clock now, aren't I? Yep, Staccato DDS gifted 50 WDW Pro memberships. But more importantly, Staccato DDS said, for $10, Jonas is going to live forever. But then he gifted 50 WDW.
And Staccato, that means Staccato has given the power to so many.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Look, Smithers, Garbo is coming. Yes, sir.
Can I just ask Staccato? And Staccato was so generous on my live show. We just wrapped up, but I don't know if Staccato meant that Jonas is going to live forever, or considering his schedule, that Jonas is going to be live forever. I want to clarify this. I'm going to get a phone call in 5, 4, 3.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, I've got a shaken espresso, and it's 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast. I'm drinking coffee. I hope Jonas has coffee. I hope Disney has coffee because they've got things to figure out. Let's take a look at the story, folks. It's from Anthony D'Alessandro out of Deadline. Moana 2 hooks $13 million plus preview records for Walt Disney Animation title, and pre-Thanksgiving Tuesday, Wicked popular with 16 million plus. Let's dive into this. There's some interesting things to be found.
And there is a follow-up piece to this that was done a little bit later today, about an hour before my show started, from Anthony.
Yeah, if we can get a link to that in just a moment in the background, folks, we'll go to that one in just a minute. Disney's Moana 2 came in at 13.8 million in previews Tuesday night, which is the best preview figure ever. But we want to take a look at that. Let's discuss it. Moana 2 beat the preview figures of Inside Out 2. Okay, so that's legit. Toy Story 4 with 12 million. Frozen 2 with 8.5 million. Incredibles 2 with a 183 million 3-day opening. So those are the films that it has beaten so far. Now the question is Moana 2, which I think is a very bad movie. I've seen it. I gave it a 4 out of 10. And that is because Ali'i Cravalho and Dwayne Johnson and the animators gave everything they had to this film. Mm-hmm. But in every other way, it is terrible. If you take away the animation and you take away Ali'i Cravalho and Dwayne Johnson, this is a 2 out of 10. Can that kind of movie that has a story that is a 2 out of 10 kind of story, can it beat Inside Out 2 just on the idea of brand familiarity and the love of the original movie? We'll find out.
No. I don't even need to see it. And I can tell you right now, the answer to that question is simple. The fact that Disney has found success with the first iteration of Moana, a renewed success, let me stipulate, because of Disney Plus, they're going to find that the leg out of this movie is going to be impacted by the same behavioral pattern of that audience. And that is that they're going to wait to rewatch this or even watch it for the first time once it reaches the D Plus streaming service.
All right. So we've got Wicked. Now this is the interesting thing. Despite how well Moana 2 did on its preview, Wicked still did better. Okay. So that's interesting. This is also interesting, and this is what you were referring to, Valiant, I believe. Again, from Anthony D'Alessandro over on Deadline. Mm-hmm. Can we get a chee-hoo? Moana 2 easily hooking best opening at $170 million plus.
Yep.
So the question then is, what is the multiplier? Valiant, I go to you to ask that. Like, is this a 2X? Is it a 3X? When you have it's a terrible movie. Mm-hmm. What will a terrible movie do if it's a 170 plus opening? I mean, is this Last Jedi? Is this Rise of Palpatine? What are we looking at?
I would say my prediction on this is going to be, this is the way too early prediction. So this could obviously have the potential of being completely, horribly, egregiously wrong. But if the movie is as bad as audiences are reacting, like Lorena, like Alan, like everybody else I've seen talking about this, plus you add in the metric that I just threw out there regarding the whole Disney Plus behavioral pattern for the first Moana, then I think 2.5x might be a reasonable middle ground assumption at this point. So if you look at 170 million, and this is just to Alessandro, So just to be clear, he is talking domestic. This is a 5-day domestic. If you scroll down through, you'll realize the 3-day he's talking about, Friday through Sunday, is about 90 million. So the 170 million is what we get when we add in the previews that happened Monday, Tuesday, the first day today, Thanksgiving Day tomorrow, Friday through Sunday. That gets us to a 5-day plus preview of 170. That's the estimate. So if we go 2x from there, we're at 340 million. If we go 2.5x from there, we're at about 300 million domestic, or a little shy over 300 million. If we then double that for global box office, potentially more, because again, the first movie is from so many years ago that it's kind of almost unreasonable to presume that the international box office is going to perform comparative to domestic in the same fashion, because there's a lot more international screens now than I think when the first Moana movie came out, more availability. But then again, Moana also doesn't have, I don't think, they don't have a lot of serious competition for the next several weeks. I think the damage to Wicked is what's going to be the most interesting thing this weekend. They're still projecting Wicked to do fairly well, like 90 million on the 5-day, okay, Wednesday through Sunday, which I think
right. And the question is, how much of that 90 would otherwise go to Moana?
Well, I look, Moana's still going to get the audience. The problem that I brought up earlier is that Moana 2 and Wicked, like it or not, basically share the same demographic audience. So you're talking about women, young girls. That's the audience for Wicked primarily. It's also the same audience demographically as Moana 2. This is going to be a brawl, right? So the better Wicked performs, the more Moana suffers. The better Moana performs, the more Wicked suffers. So we'll know it all Sunday, kids. We'll talk about it on the live show then, I guess, because this is a hard nut to crack.
Well, when it comes down to it, the question is, do Disney movies function like children's movies, or do they function like musicals? Because if it's the musical audience, it's going to go to Wicked. If it is the default children's audience, then Moana wins out.
In theory, it should be both, Jonas. The problem, however, is that which music is more readily known? Musically,
it is
Wicked.
Definitely the music from Wicked.
It is
right.
It is definitely Wicked.
Exactly.
The Moana 2
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, the best song on that soundtrack, and you know me, I love digging into a Disney soundtrack. The best song on that, if you want to go for a Moana song, Beyond, is about as good. It's about as memorable as Fathoms Below from Little Mermaid.
Which is not terribly memorable.
It's really not. It's really not. And then Can I Get a Chihu? I cannot
Wish.
Well, that's my.
That's
my point.
Jonas, Jonas, which is better, the Wish soundtrack or Moana 2?
Moana 2, but they're at least in the right form with Moana 2, but it's still just about as not unmemorable.
Commercially, Moana 2 will easily outstrip Wish, and that's only because of the recognizable portion of the first part of the title. Moana.
Can I Get a Chihu is confusing enough to someone who doesn't understand the artistry of You're Welcome, versus Can I Get a Chihu, which is it's Spracken sung, if you even want to call it that.
That song real quick though, Jonas.
Oh, I thought that's a Chihu. I thought a Chihu was a Pepperidge Farm snack. I'm sorry.
No, that is the name of the song. Like, can I get a Chihu? And I'm like, oh my god.
So this song though is so bizarre. Here's what's weird about the song. So Moana 2 was originally a Disney Plus TV show, and so it follows along like the episodic nature of a TV show, except that what they had to do to make this fit a movie was we spend 30 minutes in the first episode, then we go bang, 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 as fast as you can through the filler episodes in the middle, and we only stop at the quests that give us the new party members that otherwise would never be explained at the end. And then we get a 30-minute finale. Mm-hmm. But in the middle of that show, apparently, Moana made a bunch of mistakes. But in the movie, because they cut all those episodes, Moana never makes a mistake. And yet at the end of the movie, Moana is all sad. And so instead of that being meaningful, she comes across as some sort of psychiatric patient because out of the blue, Moana is just, crumpled up and devastated. She's like, I always just make mistakes. And Maui sings that song, Let Me Get a Chee-Hoo, because he's trying to cheer her up and let her know that she can overcome her mistakes. But because of the nature of this movie, which is a Frankenstein kind of, cut away 80% and what can we do to get a 90-minute movie out of it, she never made any mistakes. So the song makes no sense in the film itself at all.
As opposed to You're Welcome, which tells the legend of the actual Maui in musical form, and Lin-Manuel Miranda at his best, doing a little bit of light fare, a little bit of urban flair to it, and introduces the character in a perfect way about how great he is. And you see that he is, in fact, someone great, but his worst quality is his best quality, is that he really believes the hype about himself.
So here's the question to the panel. It's going to make $170 million off of the popularity of the first, but it's going to damage the franchise, which now it's a franchise. It's going to damage it because it's terrible. Is this a win for Bob Iger? Like, does he win? I just noticed the EIB cap. Darn it, that's cool. Does it get
25 years?
Does it get Iger a win? Does it get him a win? Or, because all that matters to Bob Iger is the finances of this. Mm-hmm. Does he get a winning message out of it? Or does this overall, is it egg in his face at the end of the day? Which way do you guys think this goes?
It's going to be egg on his face at the end of the day. Once word gets out about this film, it's going to go downhill from there. Because here's something also to remember, and this is something that Iger forgets. Times are pretty tough. And to take a whole family to the movies, once you start hearing about this film, I don't see people taking their family to see it. What I see them doing is, hey, let's wait till Sonic 3 comes out. Or let's wait until the Wicked sing-along hits the end of December.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go to that.
I think Lorraine is like totally on point. And that was kind of what I was trying to get at earlier. The behavioral patterns of the Moana fan base right now is largely relegated to Disney Plus, to streaming audiences. And what Lorena is correctly pointing out is that if you are like, if this was me, okay, and I was an average American, family at that point with, average American middle income, my kids were all 10 years younger than where they are. I've got a 19, a 17, and a 13-year-old. Let's say that they were 9, 7, and 3, right? And I'm looking at this in today's ticket prices at $14 per ticket average, which is where we're at, kids. And I'm taking them to a theater, and they're going to expect me to buy them popcorn.
First of all, I got to stop Valiant Renegade right there. The fact that this man shows pictures of himself on mega yacht boats and fishing, I don't want to hear that he's going to pass up the chance to take his family to see a film. You cannot tell me that. Every other weekend, you're on a fishing boat. You got like helicopters flying in. You're hanging out with Trump. I don't know what's going on. But then you want to come out here and tell everyone on the live stream, look, I ain't paying no $20 ticket for Moana. But
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Jay, that was your yacht.
Now I know why he buddied up to Ron Coleman. He just wanted to get a chance to go spend time at Mar-a-Lago.
That was Drunk's yacht. I don't want to hear it.
Everybody was quiet. I've been quiet
That
too
was
long.
Jeremy's helicopter. That was Neurotic's limo. I don't want to hear it. No. No, but I mean, like, seriously, I mean, you're talking about, to take 2 parents and 3 kids to go see a movie right now like this. Right? You're being much more judicious with things. You're talking about this is a $100 to $150 day for the average American family, 2 parents, 3 kids, minimum, to go do this. So yes, they're like, oh, it'll be out on Disney Plus in 45 days because you darn well know that Disney is going to be hard pressed not to drop this thing. Where are we at? This is November 27th. I would not be at all surprised if they don't huck this thing out by Christmas. Now, they might not, That 30 days from now, less than 30 days. I don't think they'll go that quick because they've got Mufasa coming out the week of Christmas, right? So they're going to want to try to push that. But it all depends on how quickly the roll-off is for the performance of this film. I think it's going to open hot, like they're projecting. I think 170 million domestically. Honestly, that figure is not shocking me. Now, will it get there? We don't know yet. It might come in at 150. It might come in at 140. But Deadline, who let's be frank, is the probably the most respected prognosticator of box office the week leading up to a release that there is, the Alessandro, top of his game kind of guy. If this movie underperforms what the expectations are that he's hearing from Disney, from exhibitors, from other studios, because he interviews all of them for this data, right? If it comes in under, if it comes in significantly under, 15, 20% less, boys and girls, we know where it's going. So, I mean, this is a high hurdle for this, but I think it's doable because of the first movie and what it did on Disney+. The question is, what happens after kids go back to school on Monday next week?
I'm gonna push back on you just a little bit. I think that Disney is so used to not making money on their movies, making actual money on their movies right now, that I think they would avoid the headline if they put this on Disney Plus before the end of this year. I mean, we've got 33 days until the end of the year. I think they're going to do at least a 90-day window before they put this on Disney Plus.
I would hope so.
Just so they can avoid the shame of it. And they're going to say that this is a huge hit, regardless of all of that. The blessing that they had with Strange World and Wish was that no one went to see them and they weren't recognizable brands. So this is an instance where the IP is working against them. So I've had people call me and say, "What is this movie? This is lame. My kids got bored watching this movie," which is really something, because I know those kids.
Well, the other thing of exposition will do that. It takes 35 freaking minutes to explain a plot that is paper thin, and that's offensive to paper.
Well, I think Disney is going to try to hold to at least the 45-day threshold, because that is a key threshold for exhibitioners. Major ones like AMC, like Regal, like Cinemark, like Marcus Theaters, like you go on down the list. A 45-day theatrical exclusive threshold is a key demarcation line for these things. So if Disney were to yank it at 30, they're getting paid less. The theaters, they've already got these built into contracts, generally speaking, to where, if you go to streaming sooner, if you cut our legs off sooner, you're taking a lower take. You're getting less at the gate. If you go to at least 45, you're optimizing, right? And if you go to streaming at day 45 or 46, you go to day 60. Hey, if you leave it 90 days, we'll pay you even more. I mean, this has been the case since 2021, and frankly, you can thank Warner Brothers for this, because Jason Kilar and the whole Project Popcorn crap that Warner Brothers pulled before David Zaslav got in there, that's the one that screwed the pooch for everybody. Disney was just as big of a culprit, although not as frequent a culprit as Warner Brothers was in 21. But that's where this whole new realm of theatrical exhibition contracts with the studios and the distributors came about, was because of this.
Well, let's go to Super Chats for a minute, guys. And Valiant, I didn't want to break up the conversation with the hat too much, but I'll just say that we opened the show today by me saying, speaking into the TPP microphone with my salmonella-stained fingers, folks. And that was because of all the turkey. But a Rushbo reference at the beginning, and then you came on with the EIB, and I just loved it.
Well, we did, and I've got to run, actually, so let me hop out before you get to Super Chats. But the reason I was wearing this tonight was because we closed the show out, as I've been thinking about doing the last several years, and I finally did it this year. We closed out the show with Rush's reading of the story of Thanksgiving. So I grew up with that, with him, and still love it to this day. And there's a lot of the audience that wasn't exposed to it, and I think they really appreciated it. We'll have a clip of that tomorrow morning, so everybody can hopefully share with their families for Thanksgiving. It'll probably get demonetized just because there's a lot of Limbaugh's actual webcam video from his channel, but that's cool. Just doing it to get the word out. But it's a great story that I still love to this day. Share with my family every year, along, of course, with Well, there's Rush Limbaugh, and then there's Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. It's Thanksgiving tradition. I'm sorry. As well as planes, trains, and automobiles. But Rush is always a part of that. So anyway,
And it's one of the reasons I think we work so well together, Valiant, is we have these shared interests, whether it's UHF or whether it's Rush Limbaugh. I will work things into what I say sometimes as an homage. So like when I say, I understand these Hollyweirds better than they understand themselves. That's 100% in honor of El Rushbo. And so we'll keep it going, Valiant. We are the new media.
It does give me a craving for tortilla chips. Before you go, Valiant, Aldo's Journal for $10. Valiant, what I said in your show was regarding CE comments on the second block alphabet. Cynthia Erivo comments on the second black alphabet. That would mean me being from Chile is the reason to all my problems. Hundreds audition, only one gets cast. Victim personality.
Gotcha. Yeah. Aldo. So for those of you who missed this, so Aldo on my show, he sent in a super chat kind of lamenting the fact of some of Erivo's behavior with this and kind of like championing herself is what it seemed like to me. It's like, I'm the queen of... It reminded me of the South Park episode of Jesse Jackson with all apologies. He's like, and Token's like, Jesse Jackson is not the emperor of black people. And I'm watching Cynthia Erivo's interviews and I'm thinking, I think she thinks she is. I'm not sure, but I could be wrong. But that's just my impression. But Aldo was auditioning for the role of Fierro, and he's been trying to go out for that. So he's obviously a talented musical artist out there. And again, like my wife runs a private music school. So I love Wicked. I love the music. I have for 25 years. I'm a big fan of the Broadway production. I just kind of had no interest in seeing the movie, just not because my impression was kind of like Gladiator 2. It's like, oh, I think they're going to ruin it. And with Wicked, my impression was it's Hollywood in 2024. They're probably going to ruin it. I don't want to have my love of Wicked ruined, so I'm a little standoffish, but he was trying to go out for the role of Fierro, which is the love interest. The pretty much, apart from the wizard himself, one of the lead male roles in the cast of Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's the romantic lead.
Yes. So Aldo, keep at it. Don't give up, bruh. Keep going for your dream, man.
Keep dancing through life.
Did I hear right?
Yes.
From Chile?
One of Fierro's songs, if you don't know, is "Dancing Through Life." That's
I believe that's a Chilean flag right there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it doesn't show up for me.
Oh, I thought it was Texas.
Chile.
Well, I just want to say, Aldo, if you're from Chile, Chile is one of my absolute favorite countries. I love Santiago, Viña del Mar, Valparaíso, and so.
But you can have Pedro Pascal back.
Yeah.
So on that note, I gotta run. Thank y'all. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Later, Valiant. Happy Thanksgiving.
We lost Marvin.
He'll be back. Don't worry. He always is.
Pack Boutons for $5. Something about Walt right now on ABC. I thought you were saying Walt Wright. By the way, welcome to the Walt Wright pipeline. Packing Protons for $5. Something about the Walt right now on ABC. Surprisingly, the untold story of Mary Poppins. Yeah, this is a special. I heard about this where they're talking about one of the later verses of one of the big songs written by the Sherman Brothers. Maybe it was the last verse of Small World. They bring that out every now and then. So, yep, I will check that out more thoroughly. But anybody else hear about this?
I had not.
I actually saw in the chat that people were talking about it, but I have not seen it because unless it's old, if this is brand new, then, I haven't had a chance to see it since we're on the show right now. Marvin apparently has been on, he's been on assignment looking at it. Marvin, what do you know about it now? We sent you on the task. What'd you come up with?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
There you go, folks. That's the report on something on ABC regarding Walt. From Marvin.
There's a new verse of "It's a Small World" that was written by Richard Sherman before he passed away. So I've got the article from Variety. I'll send it to you here. So Josh Berg for $5. Socialist revolution in a Germanic country. Why do they cast Ziegler for this role, as she doesn't look anything like Charlie Chaplin? Ooh,
I've heard that she's actually a very good painter, Jonas.
Josh gets the YouTube rules.
Well, that would set her apart.
Gets the YouTube rules. Josh understands, and I appreciate it.
Well, I hear that she can paint an entire apartment in a single afternoon. 2 coats. Mr. Blue Sky for $20. Moana 2 is going to do pretty well based on what I saw last night, albeit poorly executed. It's safe. Snow White will not be so lucky. Not only is it DOA, but the brand damage from all the YouTube breakdowns will hurt even more. That's the other thing. I don't know if Disney has recovered from the idea now that you have to have someone, an adult vet Disney movies at this point.
Okay.
And that's
Blue Sky is saying something though that we got to. Jay, you tell me what you think about this. Strange World, Lightyear, Wish. They're all woke. They're also all terrible. They also all flopped. Moana 2 is not necessarily woke, but it's terrible. Is the rule, Jay, that if it's a Disney cartoon and it's woke that it fails? Or is it that when they take something that could be wonderful and they ruin it, that it fails? I don't know. Like, this will be a great test to find that out. What do you think, Jay?
I honestly think it's word of mouth at this point, simply because everybody knows that it's going to come to streaming in a month or two. So if people are saying that it's not good, that it's terrible, they'll just skip and just wait for it to come on a streaming service, in my opinion. So that's what I think. I think it's just word of mouth. Like some of the advertisement doesn't help. But if the word of mouth comes out and it's like great, then people will probably go see it. If it comes out and it's like it ain't worth your time, then people will just wait till they want to watch it later on streaming just to see how bad it was.
You know what else is great?
That's just what I think.
You know what is great and has fantastic word of mouth though? Do you, Jay?
What is that?
The colors green and blue.
Oh, yes.
Achromatic.
It is great. It's amazingly great. I didn't even know you were doing a segue. Look at that.
Ready.
Oh, right here. Coming up on 2,000 books.
Yeah,
Now
and actually that
that's
number's
what
going to
we're looking
reset. We are actually at 1907 and 70,500, I think. Sold
Nice.
at the end of
Fantastic.
November.
Nice.
So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Wonderful. And mods out there, if you would mind to put that in the chat, we would love to have a link out there for the books from Jay. Go out there and celebrate them, folks. And as we've said before, Jay, I hope they're so successful you never get to stop. And eventually we're doing colors that no one ever anticipated. And you're like, really? Really? We're doing
I appreciate it. We put a lot of heart and soul, like the team that I have around me, for like, this is like almost a 5-year project now. So it is just, it's an all age series that doesn't have any of the craziness in there. So there's a lot of things in pop culture that inspired these stories. So I think you're going to absolutely love them. If you didn't get the first one, that one's available. It's 220 pages. So it's not a small little book. The second one is 130. You can get coloring books. You can get the connected covers. Comic books used to do those connected covers that were really cool. And so we brought those things back and other things as well. So you will not be disappointed in this series. And this is just kind of like the beginning of where this whole thing is going. Because hopefully by next year, hopefully, fingers crossed, you will see the first teaser trailer for the first animation film for Achromatic Chronicles Blue. That is voiced by James Arnold Taylor.
That's so cool.
The
That's
voice
Obi-Wan
of
Kenobi, by the way, for those of you who don't know that.
Jay, in 25 years, I hope that you're so successful that you're on here and we're like, all right, Jay, tell us about chartreuse and aquamarine.
Mauve.
Gonna be
Puce. We got Puce coming up.
You say potato, I say potato. Mauve, mauve, who knows? One thing I do know.
Two books left in the series, and we'll see what happens. So
That's right.
I appreciate everyone who picked them up already. And it's like I said, it's just the beginning. There's a lot coming out from this series. I appreciate you sharing that. It really means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much.
And one thing we do know, Jay, we're going to come to super chats on the backside of this story, folks, but we want to get this one in while we've got Jay and everybody's full of energy and happiness and joy. It's not such a happy and joyful time with Disney, and that's because 2024 is now shaping up to be the worst non-pandemic year for Disney in terms of attendance since 2016. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, folks, remember that 2020 and 2021 were very strange. And so we really don't count those. But we have this from Thrill Data. or data, potato, right? And they what they do is they take every single posted wait time from Disney and they aggregate that into charts so that we can take a look and approximate what attendance is looking like. And so if you look at this right side of the chart, you'll notice a decline, right? Each one of those crests and valleys is dropping over time. And that's because we presume and assume that attendance is dropping over time. Now, each one of these bars is set up to be a month, right? And so we can take a look at right now, and you can see that in November of 2024, as of right now, and we're basically done with the month, the average wait time is 30 minutes. And if we go back to the prior November, you can see it was 35 minutes. And if you go back to the prior November before that, you can see that it's 41 minutes. Well, gosh darn it, even the November from 2021, when things were weird, was still apparently more attended than now. And that, by the way, comes on the heels of a report from Marvin. And Marvin, who was the source on this one? Who had the source that said that wait times, they did a study and they found that they were as much as tripled? Who had that?
It was our buddy Josh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And so he was reporting that he did a little study, he did some research on this and found that the wait times, at least what he was seeing, could be as much as triply inflated. Now,
300%.
Right. Who knows why Disney would do that? But let's scroll down and take a look at this, because now we're getting the data that shows what we've been talking about in terms of declining attendance at Disney. So we have to remove 2020 and 2021 because everything was covered in plexiglass, and they didn't actually pack you into the line the normal way. You had to have 6 feet of distance and all of that. So you can throw that out because the wait times were weird. But in 2022, the average wait time was 41 minutes. In 2023, the average wait time decreased to 37 minutes. And for this year thus far, the average wait time across all of Disney World is 33 minutes. Mm-hmm. Well, in order to find a year that had worse attendance, we presume, than that, you have to go all the way back to 2016. So, Jay, as you are perusing and cruising through the happiest, most magical places on Earth, do you find, as a seasoned veteran of the theme parks, that they're less crowded for Disney than they were in the past?
Oh, 100%. Easy. They're crowded on, if they are crowded, they were crowded on like the holiday, like the Memorial weekends or something like that. But that goes for every park. But during the rest of the week, there's no need to buy the Lightning Lane things that they're selling right now. And in fact, like I was telling Jonas the other day, it was like, every time we go there, especially Magic Kingdom, we keep timing ourselves waiting in line, and they are definitely inflating those wait times. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, I can understand being off like 10 minutes when you're off like 35 to 40 minutes sometimes for rides. And we recorded this for Park Hopping. It's just like something's weird, like they definitely want people to buy that Lightning Lane because I guess the attendance isn't where they want it to be. So,
well, it feels like to me there's less to do than ever before, right? I mean, maybe that's just my feeling, but when I'm walking across Epcot or Disney's Hollywood Studios, I just feel like I'm in some sort of pedestrian mall. There's nothing to do.
Well, the other thing, the biggest problem for me that I think is because I've had family and friends that come and visit, the difficulty just to get into the park. First of all, like, got to get your tickets, got to get the app set up, you got to get the reservation going, you got to get this, hooked up, you got to get that just to get into the park. Unless you're just going to be one of those people that just buy a regular ticket, and you will have a terrible experience if you don't have everything set up the way they have it, that you need to, to set it up. If you want to get that Lightning Lane, things like that, you got to have the app ready to go. If people that are coming out of town, and they're like, oh, I'd love to ride Tiana's. Well, you can't do that unless you buy a Lightning Lane. You can't ride Guardians of the Galaxy unless you get that Lightning Lane, or hope for the best that you wake up at 6 a.m. to get that reservation. But most people don't understand that that's what you have to do.
Right. So this is the thing that gets me, though. The idea that you're supposed to be on vacation, but they're giving you this anxiety about getting it all done, and they're selling this $450 product that if people knew how long the actual lines were, I think they'd be pretty angry about finding out they paid, $450 on top of the price of their ticket for Magic Kingdom. It's less at Animal Kingdom, but there aren't any rides at Animal Kingdom. But that's the one that bugs me right now, because they're selling out. Like Thanksgiving Day, they have sold out all of the Lightning Lane Premier passes right now, and those are they start out like at twice the cost of a ticket. And
I'll
I don't
give you
understand.
This is how it works, because we just had family that hasn't been in the Magic Kingdom in like 40 years. They wanted to see it, and I was like, well, okay, if that's what you want. So I went with them to Disney Springs for them to purchase. I think it was Disney Springs for them to purchase tickets to the Magic Kingdom. And the way that they sell it is, basically they tell you can go to Magic Kingdom and enjoy the castle and stuff, but if you don't have the Lightning Lane, you're not going to be able to ride all the rides that you want to ride.
Oh.
You're not going to be able to do all this. So it would better for you if you picked it up, better be safe than sorry. So they practice how to sell that to normies. I guess that's what you call it, or casuals or whatever. They know better than to sell it to me and Lorena, because we don't play that. So they already know, like, we're annual pass holders, and it's like we know when to go and what we want and what we're going to do. But for the people that are just showing up, they have a great pitch that basically scares them. If you don't get it, then you're going to miss out. So that's why I think a lot of that's selling out. If you want my honest opinion, I think that's why a lot of it's selling out, just because. And then you have people, we've seen it on Twitter and other things, complaining like, I bought this thing and I didn't even need it, and it's like, well, that's your issue,
Right.
It's just because people don't know. There's no information. They don't know. Like, they don't know. Like, they could go on their app and see Pirates of the Caribbean 45-minute wait when actually it's 10 minutes. They like, so casuals don't know. And what you're doing, people that save up money for a year and they're like, well, we're on vacation, let's just spend it all. They're not going to be returning customers in the future. It's just not going to happen, because it's like, what a hassle that was, when I can just go to Universal and go, all right, one ticket, please. There you go. What about fast passes? Yeah, here's a ticket. Here you go. Or even SeaWorld at that, they were people were going to SeaWorld and just doing the same thing. Like, they're making the ticketing a lot easier. So time will tell. Like, another year will go by and we'll see, especially with Epic opening, on how short these lines actually are going to be. But there is a movement. I don't know if Lorena has heard this. You guys probably haven't heard this. The Disney adults on Facebook, I guess, I think it's Facebook, where they have their clubs. They are gearing up to make sure that they are all at Magic Kingdom and Epcot the week Epic Universe opens, so Disney doesn't feel the pain of people not being there.
Talk about insanity.
They're having people fly in from all over just to make sure they're at the park. They're like, we got to get it going. They're raising money for people that can't afford it, that will be there. It's quite the spectacular over there.
Well, even at the max, they would make up 1% of the total attendance that they need. But Lorena, I want to ask you about this. Jay is making fantastic points about all of the Genie Plus issues, or I guess now we should call them Lightning Lane, multi-bolty, whoever cares about it, pass. Lorena, if 2024 is the lowest attendance since 2016, and we think it is for non-pandemic years, and investors seem to be largely ignorant of that, do you think that they'll catch on in 2025 when Epic Universe opens, and maybe those forward-looking models Bob Iger talks about don't turn out to be so accurate?
Yeah, I think they will. I know there's a lot of investors who are noticing what's happening. I forget the one guy on the investor calls. He seems to be the only one who asks a question that is just like, okay, yeah, why aren't they doing X, Y, and Z? Your institutional investors, they're not really apt to say anything right now, but they can see what's going on. And Iger's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's going to be fine, because Epic Universe hasn't truly come online yet. Once Epic Universe comes online next year and people start going, they will be faced with the truth. You will see hard numbers. You will see people going. You have people, Helios, I think, is booked up for like 6 months, I want to say. And when you start seeing people shift the home base of their vacation from Disney to Universal, they can't ignore that anymore.
Absolutely.
And their models will have to change.
Marvin, do you think we're going to see a huge change when Epic Universe lands? Like, I'm starting to think now that it actually has a chance of legitimately beating Disney in 2026. What say you?
I do. I think that what you're gonna start seeing in Disney is when you go to a Disney park, it's going to be a lot of annual pass holders who, are probably also Universal annual pass holders who can't get into Epic. And it's going to be a lot of folks from like Europe and overseas that have had their Disney vacations planned for, years at this point. But I think that a lot of the American vacationers, a lot of the American families, they're going to be splitting the week in half, I think is what's going to happen, because now that Epic Universe is only available with a 3 to 5 day ticket, only one of which is Epic Universe, it doesn't make sense to Uber from your Disney resort over to Universal for 3 days or even 5 days. You're going to want to split your week. You're going to want to do, 3 days in a Universal resort, 3 days in a Disney resort. And then maybe because of that, maybe you stay at the Helios, and then maybe instead of staying at the Caribbean Beach Resort, you stay at All Star Music. So it's a big question. And you know what? I think that as word of mouth gets around for Epic Universe, it's going to get even worse, because a lot of people, I think, right now are also going to keep going to Disney out of habit or out of a sense of brand loyalty. But you're not going to be able to argue the quality. I mean, we were just on Extra Magic Hour last night over on TPP. We were looking at all the Donkey Kong stuff, and I was just like, you can't compare. They've got nothing that compares. Nothing. And nothing that's coming compares to it.
Well, let's ask Lauren. Lauren, Disney wants you to go visit their parks. Universal wants you to visit their parks. You, I don't think, have any kind of brand loyalty to one or the other. So my question is, Lauren, for you and your family, is Princess Peach, is her castle now more tempting than Cinderella's?
For me, it comes down to cost and hassle. And the last time I went to Disneyland was in 2014. I had a great time. I've actually always enjoyed Disneyland. I've never actually been to Disney World. A couple of years ago, I did get to go to Universal Orlando and had a fantastic time. Everything that I've heard about Disney in the last few years is it's such a hassle to figure out how you're going to get in to see what you want to see, and it's so expensive. It scared me off. It's like I would love to go back to one of the Disney properties, but it seems to me like it's just not worth it. Epic Universe interests me, so it would grab me if I had the time and the money to do so, but I don't want to have a hassle. I just want to book everything, be able to go, have a good time, and not worry about getting a lightning lane pass or the GD stuff. I don't want to be constantly looking at my phone and then paying for all these extras that I don't actually get to use.
There's Galaxy's Edge, Lauren. There's Galaxy's Edge, and you can have non-dairy blue milk. Come on.
Sounds really good to me, yeah.
Yep, lukewarm Fruity Pebble liquid water mixture. Hey. All right, folks, well, we are about to lose Lauren. Lauren has got to hop out, but Lauren, I appreciate you being here. You've been under the weather, and you have hidden that well from everybody out there. A consummate professional, always, that Lauren.
Always
Lauren,
a pleasure to be on.
What you're going to be reading up next, please.
I'm sorry, say that again. I missed the last part.
You are constantly reading from the extended universe over on your channel. What's up next?
I'm still in Shadows of the Empire. We're about 29 chapters in. I don't know how many chapters are left, but it's somewhere around 100 pages or so. I have not been reading this week because, as you said, I've been sick and my voice has been really bad. But I'm hoping I'll be able to pick up here pretty quick again. So
we've been pumping him full of Benadryl for 24 hours, folks. He's going to go to sleep and not wake up until after Black Friday. Lauren, have a wonderful time. And given your what shall we say, sleepiness, maybe avoid the turkey this year. No, go ahead and eat it. It'll be good for you.
Yeah, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. I had a great time with you all. Everybody take care, and I'll see you again real soon.
Take care, Lauren.
Bye, Lauren.
Take care.
Bye, Lauren.
See you, buddy.
All right, Jonas, we've got super chats. If we cannot keep them off the screen any longer, let's bring them up.
All right. Well, I need to apologize to Mr. Blue Sky. This one was already read, but it was a two-parter. So Moana 2 doing pretty well based on what I saw last night, but came back with $5 more. Also, I think an easy fix for Cap that might soften the blow is just to give him the serum. Yeah, it would make sense. It would already break the character even more than they're breaking that character. I just, I like Mackie. I've got no problem with him. I think he's kind of charming, but I think this is they have gone too far here. They've gone into the dork age of the comic books here and try to put that on screen. And they're waving that flag here of diversity in a way that is making it really difficult for people to just sit down and enjoy the movie. So I think this is all on them. It's not Mackie's fault, but they're going to throw him out there. And don't they dare start putting some like weird virtue signaling lines and put that in his mouth. I think that is going to do him even more of a disservice. They need to just take the L. Just let this thing go.
Take the L, Disney. Take the L.
Staccato DDS for $10. Jonas is going to live forever. Yes, Commander Riker also intends to live forever. Gory-eyed Beast for $2 Canadian. Eat that, then wash it down with Assassin's Creed.
We're going to be covering this soon. I don't know if you all have heard. Elon Musk is buying or starting or whatever he's doing a new gaming studio that is going to be driven completely by artificial intelligence.
If anybody can do it.
I cannot wait to explain why that's different than any gaming studio that exists currently. Not for tonight, but it's coming up soon, folks.
The Mum for $199. What, y'all don't have $10,000 cash laying around? If you do, I'm gonna crowdfund my comic book today, The Jonas Gamble Adventures.
Well, Jay had that until he let Valiant sleep on his couch. Now it's on the yacht.
Issue 1 is how to sit in a chair next to a fire and read The Hobbit. That's pretty much what it is. It's me reading The Hobbit to myself. Stacey Perry for $5. Anyone else desperately waiting for the narrative to be, wow, what a great story Disney told in the movie, in the ride, in the new hotel, etc. They tried it. They really tried it, especially with Galactic Star Cruiser. Hey, Jay, did you hear about that hotel that they tried to make that was Star Wars?
No. What happened to it?
It's sitting there empty, I hear.
All I see over there is a Spirit Halloween store coming to the Magic Kingdom. By the way, I'll say this. We're very negative about Disney because they've earned it these days. And dropping your stock something like 45% over 3 years, that earns our ire. But we are not without passion and fire. And so we say this, Lilo and Stitch, at least for me, I think has a chance of actually being a good Disney movie in the same way that Disney movies of 7, 8, or more years ago were good. Hoping that Lilo and Stitch will be a return to form.
If I can add to that on something positive, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party was a lot of fun, and the Very Merry Time cruise that I went on was fantastic. So
how much did Bob Iger? How much were you threatened to say that, Marvin?
Oh, they've got my kid. They've got my kids.
They've got my children. John JID for $199. Go see Heretic. It's a really good A24 horror movie.
I'm glad to hear that because the trailer looked pretty good. So I'm gonna have to check that out.
Check it out. Thank you for the suggestion.
Riley Wellborn for $4.99. I just returned from Moana 2, and I have to say, Pro, you were much too nice in your review. Yikes. I was annoyed for more than half of the movie.
See, it wasn't just me.
Well, I was pressured. The people in my party said you cannot give it a 3.5, which is what I was originally going to give it. So I went up to a 4 based on the idea that it is aimed at very young children and it's passable for very young children.
See, I don't like that at all because you have to respect a childhood audience. That's saying that something is for kids, so it's okay to be garbage. I don't like that at all.
What did I give the last Minions movie? What did I give that, Jonas? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but the last Minions movie was better than Moana 2 by far.
Yes.
It had a plot, and it actually had good morals in the end. It was a good capstone. Wait, no, we're talking about Despicable Me, by the way. That's,
I never thought that in a Moana movie we would have cell phone jokes and booger gags.
They did have tweeting in the
jokes.
Nick Hayes for $199. Sorry, Jaguar ad made me think of new Doctor Who. Blah. Doggy for $2. It's Small World does inclusivity better than DEI. Yes, it does, because there's no equity there. It's just saying we're all equal. If there's a subtle,
given Doggy's proclivity, are we sure he's not actually pronounced Doji at this point?
Love it. By the way, okay, so Packing Protons. I think that I found the member chat that you sent in before this show started. I can't bring it up on screen because it didn't interact with StreamYard the way it was supposed to. But Packing Protons, member for 17. How long until Anthony Mackie just up and quits Marvel altogether? Already there are reports of him losing it on set and the utter lack of direction. 4 reshoots enough to do it. He's got the patience of a saint, but I think that this is the clearest path forward for him to have a paycheck.
Oh, for sure.
What was it? The Twisted Metal series. It looked really bad in previews, but a lot of the reviews that I saw of it said it was actually a really good Peacock series. Nobody watches TV series that are just Peacock originals, but whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I bet he's more picky with his roles, but I think he's probably sticking with Marvel for another 5 to 6 years. Just a guess. And Packing Protons for $5. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Catch it on the replay. If you have the EarthCam website, you can get a great view of the parade with the Herald Square cam.
There you go.
Marvin, Pro, you might be able to use that. John Coleman for $5. Jay, thanks for signing my copy of Blue in San Antonio.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for picking it up.
See, I came up to Jay at a con, and I was like, hey, if there are any extra copies of Blue, and I was dropping hints for months that I wanted a physical copy of Blue. I don't think they exist yet, so I ordered one from, maybe that's what it was. It was the long sell here. Wanted me to pick it up with the campaign. So,
absolutely.
Mine will show up in January. Also, Valiant Renegade for $4.99. Be like VR. Drop a dime on Drunk's book. It really doesn't stink.
Thank you.
So, Aldo's Journal for $4.99. Yes, Pro. I'm from Santiago. I went to acting college here in the U.S. as an F1 student. Graduated this year and currently live in Hollywood auditioning. And for $1.99. I was the one who sent you the Aulani info in an email.
Uh-oh, now we're starting to find out who the sources are. I never thought we'd get to the point where the sources start saying, it's me. Sources, easy there.
Thank you very much.
I have to say that Santiago has the absolute best, cleanest, safest subway system in the world. It puts Paris to shame. All right, one more, Jonas, and then we've got to keep moving.
Mr. Blue Sky for $4.99. Disney 1000% inflates wait times to push people to Lightning Lane. Very rarely have I ever waited as much as posted times, usually 2/3 to 1/2 the time.
Yes, I would say it depends on the time of day. Jay, what do you think?
Dang. Sorry, I was talking.
No, it's just sad. I agree. Like it's just sad. Like that they have to do these kind of manipulative tricks on families just to try to make an extra dollar. It really is. It's really sad.
I rarely call for regulation. I think that the state of Florida needs to step in and say, listen, if you're going to put these posted wait times up there, they've got to have some semblance to reality. Lorena, do you think the legislation should step in and do something about this?
I'm a small government kind of person. So
Same.
I pretty much like to let their behavior bite them in the backside about that when it comes to that sort of thing, because I won't say that it's all of the attractions. I know, because when I do my live streams, every time we get into a ride queue, I always tell the chat, take note how long it takes. And usually the wait is like half or a quarter of what's posted, except for the Haunted Mansion. Now, the Haunted Mansion seems to be the only one where there's maybe a 5-minute difference or so, but the rest of them, they're just all out there. But no, I don't think government should step in for right now with that.
I'd like a third party, not government, to come in and certify these kind of things on a regular basis.
All right. So the government's not going to step in, but I have someone else who's going to step in. Why, it's Erica. Erica, welcome to the Pro Channel.
Thanks for having me.
We shuffle the deck of panelists, and Erica is here to help us walk through what is happening to Holly Weird. Yes, Aldo, we're talking to you. It turns out stuff's happening over in the Golden State, and it's not so golden and shiny anymore. This is from the Hollywood Reporter by, who do we have here? Ben Samick. Gavin Newsom's plan to boost Hollywood isn't enough. Here's what could help. The governor's proposal to double the state's tax incentive program to $750 million is neither competitive nor comprehensive enough to discourage projects from relocating, and it ignores unscripted television right now. The story here, folks, is that after the election, for whatever reason, it seems like entertainment is underway with an exodus to get away from California. And Gavin Newsom is trying every way to keep them there, but not even $750 million tax incentive is sufficient to keep Tinseltown from running to other places. Here's the article. While Hollywood still holds viewers' imaginations as both the birthplace and capital of the modern television and film industry, oh, does it? It is no longer the center of our entertainment production business. That's correct. Despite our enviable collection of studio facilities, diverse physical landscape and resources, highly trained production crews, and proximity to the actual business of television, Hollywood has been losing production jobs for a decade at least, as the state fails to compete with tax incentives and the relatively lower cost of production services offered by other territories. Wonder why that is. Anybody know why that is? Anybody know why California can't compete economically and with how much it costs to go to these other places for paying different people? Anybody got an idea? Lorena, do you know?
Well, it takes a lot to sweep all the bum stuff off the sidewalk. So they gotta budget.
Not to mention the state, the taxes, because I know when I lived there, 10% income tax that they would do, the crappy roads, the smog, the high cost of low living, as Jerry Doyle would say. It's not a very nice place to live, very expensive place to live.
Lorena, did you hear what Jonas said? I'm just trying to, maybe my headphones in the studio are messed up. Jonas, did you call human excrement bum stuff?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of things that can come out of a bum, but yes, that would be one of them. Yes,
that is the most eloquent and yet not eloquent way of describing human excrement on the sidewalk that I've ever heard.
I think it's because it comes from bums, right?
Yeah, I was talking about homeless people.
Those kinds of bums, not that kind of bum, but it's a double bum.
He was maligning vagrants, not being posh.
It's a double bum entendre. All right, continuing. According to Film LA's most recent Q3 2024 report, and this is the number this is why we're reporting on it, folks. Unscripted production has been declining in Los Angeles by 56.3% in the last quarter. This is something that you would read and think, oh, well, in the last decade. No, in the last 3 months, they've lost more than half of unscripted productions. In fact, the summer drop in reality production was so steep that it more than accounts for the entire loss seen in aggregate across all filming categories over the past year. This should give all Californians pause, as it has very real consequences for our local economy and the livelihood of local industry workers. Well, I actually don't think that it has real consequence for the livelihood of local industry workers, because I think they'll move, because entertainment seems to be moving. So, panel, what I'd like to ask you is, we've predicted for a while now that there would be this dissemination of entertainment all over North America, and that the new media would be empowered, and that Hollywood would be on the decline, especially if the election went the way that it did. So is this the end? Are we now in a spiral that California can no longer turn around?
They've destroyed California. They have made it into an unsustainable place to live or do business. It's just, you know, you go 2 blocks away from, you know, Beverly Hills, and there's tent cities everywhere. It's not a place that's conducive to work anywhere. You can't afford to open a business. You can't afford to shoot a project. You can't afford to live there anymore. They have completely and utterly destroyed the entire state. So I'm not shocked. I mean, people have been running to Canada to film things for forever. You know, shows like Smallville, all the Arrowverse shows, Once Upon a Time, all filmed in British Columbia. So it was only a matter of time before everything had just started moving over there.
Erica, being an international panelist, a woman of mystery, one might say. Erica, that's a reference, folks. We hope you got it. Erica, do you sense that internationally people still see California with the same kind of shine in their eyes, or has it lost luster throughout the world and not just the United States?
The overall consensus here is that California is expensive, so their reputation is pretty much, you know, the Germans out here, they're aware that it's expensive. I mean, we're in the digital era. We have been for a while now, so their reputation is what it is, and they've pretty much garnered it worldwide.
Can't hide the bum stuff, right, Erica? The bum stuff is out there for everybody to see. You know, they I don't know if you guys saw this, Jay. I don't know if you saw it. They when the leaders of China came to visit when they came to visit California.
Oh, they cleaned it up real quick, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Homelessness wasn't a problem. So Jay, but I think that only feeds in. That's the Streisand effect, right? The whole world then finds out. Oh well, they shoved the bum stuff off of the sidewalks for the dignitaries of the Middle Kingdom, and then as soon as they were gone, the middle finger came up to the residents of California because all the bums came back. Well, the bum stuff, we like bums, we love all people, but the bum stuff, not so much. So Jay, what do you think when you're talking with people? Do you get the sense that the allure of California is gone?
I hope you guys can hear me because I think my internet's. Do I sound okay, or am I roboting?
Jay, are you telling us
you've got kind of an accent when you talk?
No, it's like good old grandma's internet. No, I think that they're like other states will probably step up for like movie studios and stuff like that. Will they not?
Made
so it's
in
like,
Georgia.
yeah, it's like come over here and let's just bring production. I have seen and heard, maybe Lorena could help me out with this one, but there's a big studio being built right on the outskirts of Orlando that's been very hush-hush for a while, where it seems like a major studio is planning on shifting over here to Florida. But we can't get like an exact, I don't know who it is, like put it that way. And I've asked everybody, like what these giant filming warehouses and stuff have being built right on the outskirts of Orlando. And there's a lot of like rumors that maybe a company's coming over, or they're building a side area or something like that to film, to make things.
Hey,
I'm not sure.
Why don't you spit it out? Why don't you just say that in your vast wealth, you're starting a giant studio complex in Orlando? Just say it, man.
I wish.
MGM Studios by Jay coming to Orlando.
I wish.
2 years from now.
One day we're gonna know who it is soon. Watch. I would laugh if it's like Lucasfilm or something, but I don't know. I don't know who it is.
They opened Netflix opened a really big studio in New Jersey, I believe, where they're filming a lot of things now. So you're starting to see it, Jay. You're starting to see people going all over the place. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like Amazon Studios or something like that in Orlando.
Probably someone like that. They have enough money to do that.
If they come to Florida, I encourage them to enjoy their great movie ride. I'm sure it'll go well for them. See what we did there, Jonas? You see what we did?
I think we'll see a bigger exodus out of California too.
Hey, if they had kept the Great Movie Ride, they would have had the Wicked Witch. They would have been the only theme park with the Wicked Witch of the West in it this weekend, and they would have had a huge turnout for it.
But that was too easy.
Because all those Californians are moving into these, I guess, red states, and they're going to bring their voting habits where we don't want them.
I don't remember the. I may be out of date now, but I believe the top 3 were Texas, Florida, Tennessee, might be Idaho somewhere in there. But there was a study done, and they discovered that the vast majority, well, not the vast majority, it was like 60% plus of the people moving to those areas actually shared those areas' views, because it turns out that the people who had the more liberal proclivities, they were going to Colorado. And it was just basically like, where are they going? Colorado and Austin, Texas. Like that was the two places they decided they could handle. Couldn't handle anywhere else.
I was doing some research in the background, and I found the building.
How dare
And
you.
I think I know who it is that's building this, actually. A man by the name of Heinz Doofenshmirtz.
No, get that building out.
Oh, not the I store.
Get that out of there.
You see, Barry the Platypus, every time I tried to build with Legos, my parents knocked them down.
If you know, you know. You hate that building with a passion.
Yes.
That's right.
The
All right,
I4
let's-
iStore, yeah.
Let's go to our next story, folks, and it is what many of you out there have been waiting on. Captain America: Brave New World. Well, it's basically confirmed now, and again, we have more that'll be coming out on the Patreon, more than we are willing to say yet on the channel, but appears very confirmed now that they are under major reshoots, and we held up, and I even told Marvin on thatparkplace.com not to report on this yet, and so that was kind of a little egg in our face, but at the same time, we try to be safe and make sure we're always giving you the truth as best we can. It was hard to believe. I mean, really hard to believe that we are at the end of November. This comes out in February. And it was very difficult to believe that they would be going through significant reshoots. And there's another layer to this that I'm not willing to say yet publicly because we've only got one source on it, although it's a very good source. But here's what we got out of Breitbart from Nolte, John Nolte. Disney's Captain America 4 enters third round of reshoots after bad test screening. Here's what it says. With its release date only 4 months away, the latest reports say Captain America: Brave New World is doing a third round of reshoots. Reports that the fourth Captain adventure was set to undergo more reshoots were recently confirmed when star Anthony Mackie was spotted shooting new scenes for the movie in L.A. There was speculation that these might simply have been a few minor pickups, but it's starting to sound like they have been more expensive. That's from Comic Book Movie. Now, Daniel Rickman had the original story about this, and they said that they were doing these reshoots after more test screenings that came back negatively. We think we know why. We're not ready to report that on the channel yet. A little over a year ago, Breitbart News reported on this troubled production, the negative test screenings and expensive reshoots. The budget must be climbing into the $350 to $400 million range by now, and that's without promotional costs, which could bring the total cost to something near $500 million. Folks, there is no way at this point that this can recoup its losses. Why is Disney continuing to pour money in and reshoot this film with 3 months left to go? We're talking about in February, they released Captain America: Brave New World. Looks like it needs $1 billion to break even now. And in March, they're releasing Snow White, and it looks like it needs $1 billion to break even. And I will eat crow on this channel, not real crow, but metaphorical crow, if either of these manages to hit the $1 billion mark. I don't know. Am I wrong? Are you all amazed as I am that they are continuing to tinker with this?
At this point, I think they understand that they're not going to make money on Captain America. I think at this point, it's all about future films. They're basically like, if people can walk away from the movie at least thinking that it's at least somewhat good, then we've saved the next Captain America. We've saved the next Avengers. We've saved the MCU from having egg on its face. I'm pretty sure at this point they're chalking it up as a financial loss, and it's all just about the brand going forward and trying to keep the brand strong.
All right. What say you, panelists? I mean, does this have any chance of success?
I think they were making a Trump propaganda film.
Yes.
And the election hit, and they were like, I guess people might like that guy. And they got to change it, they changed it up. It's really sad because they don't want this movie to fail, because there's another black actor that they put on the front and they gave him a terrible production with a terrible story. I don't blame him. I think he's a great actor, honestly. But the story and everything, and it's like they're gonna put that in the forefront, and it's gonna make him look bad, which is terrible. Like it's terrible that Disney does this.
It's a pattern over and over and over now. It's awful.
And so now, like when being at these conventions with Juan Carlo, he made a statement at one of them. I don't know if he was supposed to do this or not. He basically was like, when he wasn't in the original film, and they added his character, and they reshot half the film with his character in there. So then all of a sudden he's like, and the last con we were at together, he made another statement in the panel. Like, so it was out. The recordings are out there. He was like, yeah, I got called back. I got to go shoot some more because they decided to change some things again. So I'm like, good Lord, man. Like they must have reshot an entire film twice over just because like it wasn't what they wasn't what they wanted. So it's going to be a mess, man. This is going to be an absolute mess.
Well, you would
I'm
think
just
that
going to point
some
this
folks
out.
would get
Since we're
tired of
talking
throwing money at it.
Comic-Cons, Gina's line was longer, even though we got somebody who's in the one of the most expensive MCU films out there.
You would think that they would get tired of throwing money, but I want to pull this up. We don't normally throw a super chat up during the middle of a story, but it goes right in with this. Jonas, you might know the answer. Where does all the money go from every failed project? That from Aunt Jemima for 5.
Well, it doesn't necessarily go to the VFX studio unless they hire more VFX studios. It would go towards, I guess, more studio time. That's actually a really great question that I'm going to put a little bit more research into it long term. But when they do things like this, it goes to, first of all, the producers are going to get a little cut for themselves, and the everybody down the line gets another piece at the pie here. I don't think that Harrison Ford signed up for 4 rounds of reshoots. I don't think Giancarlo Esposito signed up for 3 rounds of reshoots. So there's probably some negotiations there. It might even be some kind of negotiation with famous instance where Cavill was brought back for Justice League, but they needed his time away from Mission Impossible 5 Fallout. I'll say Fallout instead of the number here. So I think there's some money changing hands even between studios on things like this. At this point, I think they give up on where all that money goes. I think they give up on it making sense. I think they give up on it being financially responsible because at this point there is no way that this film is profitable. There is no way they make any money off of this one. It just needs to get done. It needs to be behind them. And the fact that they have this, I just realized that they've got an Eternal shot in there. Yikes. Speaking of weighty continuity, this is something that just has to be out. And the fact that the MCU is supposed to be one piece of continuous media over 30 or 40 or I think 50 pieces of content I've found at this point, they have no option. They can't just say number 3 didn't happen. They have your Red Hulk. They have this character Sabra that there's now rumors that she's getting her own thing. This is a mess. It needs to be done. Maybe the MCU needs to go away for a while, but it's not because they just paid $100 million to get Robert Downey Jr. So I don't know. It's bad money after bad at this point.
I just think I think they hope that it's going to lose. Not that they hope, but I think they know they're going to lose money, but they hope to put out a good film. Like I think that's where they're at. So even if it lost money, people will still say, "Oh, it was still decent." That they made the right call and the reshoots and stuff. But it's I don't know. I don't see much excitement for this film. I don't see a lot of people talking about it in a positive light. So
and I literally my mind is blown. I just realized they showed the hand of that Celestial coming out. This is the first time I'm noticing that. One of the scenes where he's outside of the aircraft carrier. This in this area right here, you can see the fingers. They look like clouds in this, but the Eternals is going to be a part of this plot. So that is My
Yeah,
goodness.
I've come up with.
I am so not interested in this film because I have a fundamental problem with it. Since Sam Wilson doesn't have the super serum,
Yes.
he can't even throw Cap's shield right. So you mean to tell me he's going to be able to take on Red Hulk in this movie? I have a fundamental problem with that.
Wait a minute, Lorena. What if, just humor me for a moment.
Okay.
What if they go get the Trump animatronic from the Hall of Presidents and they put it in the movie and they have the new Captain America go up to it, and say, "Hey, you're all right with me." And then the Trump animatronic says, "I really like the MCU. It's going to be huge. It's going to be MC huge." What do you think? I mean, that's how Disney could possibly placate all of this. Maybe. I don't know. Sort of, kind of.
Unless it only works if it's a new animatronic and it doesn't look like Hillary.
You know what I just realized too? They did Bad Trump in the end of Secret Invasion too. I guess they're dropping that one.
We got Red Hulk. We got Red Hulk now, people. They're red now. Our movement. I start wearing a red hat. All of a sudden, we got Red Hulks walking around. I don't know.
I got to tell you, though, Lorena pointed out the most important thing about the entire film is that they even have a poster with Red Hulk punching the shield and Sam holding it up. Now, he's not a superhuman, so he probably should be killed after that. Honestly, as a comic book person, you don't survive that. And I don't understand why they just didn't want to, the Falcon is a great character. In the comics, I don't understand why they just didn't want to do a Falcon film. But I guess the name Captain America they felt would have more weight to it and more people would go see it. But Lorena is 100% correct. He shouldn't be throwing the shield like that. He shouldn't be acting as if he has super strength or anything like that. That's just not who he is. So it's just bad comic book film at this point. So
my major issue with the movie is you're taking from the Hulk lore to give it to not Captain America. Because the two villains of this are Red Hulk and the Leader. People are forgetting that the Leader is the main villain of this, which is Hulk's greatest villain. So it's just an entire mess. They're taking from other lores because they got no stories left to tell for Captain America.
Did you hear the leaks though? This is supposed to set up the new Avengers. So you got the female Avengers showing up at the end to fight Red Hulk, allegedly, which is Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop. It's all the women. Probably that. I don't know what the Warlock from Agatha and some
Jay,
others
I
are all.
cannot wait. I mean, the content I'm going to create for an entire month. This is wonderful. Please keep it coming, MCU. The new Captain might not survive the hits from the Red Hulk, but this channel and the channel of many others are going to thrive off of Red Hulk if that's what they do. Jay, thank you for that.
I hope they do. I want them to just jump in the deep end with it all and just.
It's probably what they're replacing. It's probably what they're replacing with these reshoots.
Now, speaking of diving in, though, folks, I want you to dive into Marvin the Movie Monster's live stream of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade tomorrow. Marvin, tell the folks out there what they can expect in the morning.
Oh, sure. So we're starting off at 8:15 a.m. We're doing a full watch-along commentary for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We're going to be talking about all the bad lip syncs. We're going to be talking about all the deflated balloons. And then we're going to take it all the way to the point where Santa Claus comes down Herald Square and we can officially usher in the holiday season the way it's meant to be ushered in. Very, very excited for it. We should have a bunch of people joining us in from Toonie Talk TV, from Toonie Talk Wrestling. And then, I'm hoping people from this channel as well will pop in. Who knows? You never know who's going to show up. It might just be me by myself. Who knows if anyone's showing up? But
I just hope that it's not Wilton slashing those balloons so that you can get better ratings. I really hope that's
absolutely right. Yeah, we're going to have thank you to, I think it was either Go and Shogi or Packing Protons or somebody who mentioned Earth Cam, because I'm going to have the Earth Cam on Herald Square going, but we're going to be commenting on the official NBC feed. So very much looking forward to it tomorrow. But this is the first annual Marvin the Movie Monster Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade watch party on Toonie Talk TV.
Fantastic stuff. All right, folks, and mods, if you could put that out there, a link to that live stream coming up. It's time for us to hit our final story of the evening, folks, before Thanksgiving begins. And can't wait to bring this to you. Joe Rogan is under attack. Now, after this, we're going to read the last super chats, and then we're going to send you over to a Merry, Merry Pro Christmas. It is a special musical that will feature sounds and songs by me, by stuttering guitarist, and I'll be commentating through it. We can't wait to send you all there. There's also going to be a special members link in the community tab for the Pro Channel. If you would like to comment, chat with me, ask questions about it during the Merry, Merry Pro Christmas, I'll be there to answer that for members of the channel. All right, folks, here's the story. Joe Rogan under attack after he decimated the dinosaur legacy media. This is out of Fox News. It's by Nicholas Lanham. Lanham, Australian broadcast chair, unleashes on Joe Rogan. Deeply repulsive. The Australian TV exec Kim Williams claimed Rogan treats public as plunder and exploits their vulnerabilities, which is to say that the public at large is just too stupid to not understand Joe is messing with them. Here's what Fox News had to say about the whole thing. If it'll play. Oh, no, we've got an ad. Well, while we wait for this ad to go by, does anybody out there ever wish that you could skip an ad? If you do, consider clicking the skip ad button, a sponsor of the channel. All right, here we go, folks.
Basically, to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
God.
Panel, does anybody actually believe that? Do you all believe that? Do you think Joe Rogan actually believes that real dragons breathe fire?
Wait.
Joyce said it, so it's got to be
The
true.
look on Whoopi's face was like, what?
I believe in dragons.
Hi.
When Whoopi doesn't believe in it. Let's continue.
Rogan really
what's wrong with
into this
believing
one
in
by
dragons?
changing his ex-bio to quote Dragon Believer. Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor, and he joins us now. Joe, this is so up Joe Rogan's alley in terms of what he finds funny. To first of all be called a Dragon Believer, and also to be accused of being an unreliable source of information by the ladies of The View. So, what is your reaction to all of this?
Oh, yes, Carly. We should absolutely trust The View and not the guy who revolutionized the world with electric cars, SpaceX. I could go on with the accomplishments of Elon Musk. I have a question. Do stupid people get to a point in life where they realize that they're, stupid? Because this is what panic sounds like.
And panic there is indeed. And so, panelists, what I'd like to ask you is, the legacy dinosaur media, it appears to me that they're just lashing out at this point. They're just angry. They're just mad because Joe Rogan has defeated them. He has destroyed their business model, and nobody is going to go back to them now. And they know that. So, Joe Rogan is mocking them, and they don't even understand it. Perhaps just as concerning, and let's figure out where that audio is coming in. Sorry, folks, for that. If you were able to hear that. Let me show this to you real quick before we go any further. Here we go. Take a look at this, folks. It says, when asked to offer his thoughts on Rogan during his address to the Australian National Press Club, this is Kim Williams, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation chairman. Williams admitted that he was not a consumer of the Joe Rogan experience. Said, I think people like Rogan prey on people's vulnerabilities. They prey on fear. They prey on anxiety. They prey on all the elements that contribute to uncertainty in society. He also suggested that Rogan pushes, and he goes into these crazy stuff. Here's my thought on this, though. It's one thing if the ladies of The View say it. It's another thing if government officials, even international government officials, start saying this kind of thing. Because I don't know if you all noticed, panelists. I don't know if you noticed, folks out there listening, but the mainstream legacy dinosaur media that is dying now, they pushed non-stop conspiracies and propaganda and fear for years, and it was all damaging to society. Erica, do you think that they are done with? Do you think that Joe Rogan now reigns supreme and they're just mad about it?
Not just Joe Rogan. I mean, they're just targeting him, but like the whole social media space, people are getting their news from X and YouTube. And, another thing too that I have not heard anyone bring to light is that have you noticed that in this new media, the audience can interact with people like you guys? There's a connection. And you
Mm.
don't have that connection with, these people on Fox, or The View or whatever. So it's how do we put it? It's relational, like
I agree with
relational
that. Yeah.
ministry as we're taught in youth ministry.
And there's a relational
And
now.
we're
There's a relational chasm between the dinosaurs who
yeah.
have no connection with the average person, Erica.
And I think since the pandemic, there's been a hunger for human connection, even now more so than ever. I think that's
Mhm.
another, part to it. So, but yeah, I find myself, well, we've been watching YouTube for years anyways, and now it's just like that's just our go-to for all entertainment for everything. And I know we're not the only family, in that headspace.
Lorena, why do you think they fear, and they clearly do fear, why do you think they fear Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, the X platform? I mean, they're trying to do an exodus to blue sky, for crying out loud, and that's not working. Why are they so afraid? Why can they not join the new media and compete with us? What is it that scares them so badly?
Well, that they no longer can control the narrative. They're no longer the gatekeepers. It used to be that the barrier to entry into this space was very, very expensive. Now, the only barrier to entry is you just have a phone, an internet connection, boom, guess what? You're online. So they're no longer able to gatekeep information. And because they've lost that control, they do not know what to do with themselves. And an informed public is their worst enemy, especially when the public is informed, but not through them.
You know, that's a fantastic point. I want to go to Jay. Jay, I was on Ron Coleman's show for election night coverage, and Ron Coleman is he represents Donald Trump, and so when Trump's attorney asks you to come on his show, you go on his show. But as part of what I was doing, I was checking out all of the different streams that were running on election night, trying to see who had information that I could bring to the Ron Coleman show, and I was so impressed. I found, for example, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers fame, of which you were part over there, that group. And he was running a D-Day Cobra election stream. He had 10,000 concurrent viewers minimum, hour after hour after hour. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, these guys are better than the crew at Fox News. And then I would go and I'd watch PBD, or I would go and I would watch Daily Wire, and I would think, going to the networks is like stepping back into the past. So, Jay, I just wonder, do you think that they're lashing out because they have no ability to actually step into a meritocracy? They depend on the gatekeeping just to survive.
100%. I think the beautiful thing about this election, it showed and told these type of people in the media and Hollywood celebrities, that their influence is completely gone, that nobody cares what they have to say. People laugh at them now when they make these crazy statements. And we just saw on MSNBC, even though Comcast looking to sell, apparently, they had to make the trip all the way to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring of Donald Trump because their ratings are so bad that the Morning Joe and all them are like, hey, they had to apologize to their audience for even suggesting that they went to go talk to Trump to see if he would show up on their network again. I mean, it's
President-elect.
because they thought that they had power and influence, and these celebrities too. They think that they could tweet something and people will just bow down and listen to what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like that anymore. It's not like that anymore. And the reality has set in with many of them who have like left social media, who have, Mark Hamill, he's having a meltdown on his new Blue Sky, wherever he's at. And he's like, I'm not coming back. Like they realized that they're not as important as they think they are. And this elitism and all this stuff that these media people and celebrities thought that they had, they don't. They really don't. They don't have it. And the reality sets in with them that they don't have it, and it's crushing them, to the point where I think some of them are going to say the most outrageous stuff to try to hold on to any type of relevancy that they think they might have, just to find some type of engagement. How many celebrities have we heard years? I'm leaving Twitter and I'm going to go to this platform, and then I'm going to leave Twitter and go to that platform. I'm going to leave, and they always come back because they get the most engagement on that platform, on Twitter. So it all comes down to like they thought they need attention. These people thrive off of it, and they need someone to listen to them. If not, they can't. When they feel irrelevant, like they will go into a complete panic, shock, which we've already seen some of them do. It's quite comical, in my opinion, to see them like that.
Cognitive dissonance. They do not understand what is happening around them. But they want to
absolutely. It's a joke.
They never saw it coming, but now they want to analyze it and explain it to the people who did.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas, I see you have unmutified. That means you have something to say, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. Before that, if you really want some hot political takes, make sure you follow Lorena. She's freaking hilarious. When these people say stuff and she just slaps them a little bit, it's freaking fun. I told her that all the time. Like, you're one of the few Twitter accounts I have notifications on because I don't know. Like, she'll find like some state senators, some congressman that I'd never even heard of.
Government officials
just slaps them right down.
Congress critter, yeah.
Freaking hilarious. So
Great
anyway,
impressions of Lorena.
Just throwing that out there.
What do you got over there? What do you got?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Since I hit 9,000 subscribers, and thank you, and I'm so thankful. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be having a 9K celebration Thanksgiving chill stream. It's going to have fun hanging out with you guys. Also going to have fun letting you guys know my roots back to the Mayflower. Talk about Thanksgiving foods, especially Thanksgiving in the South. And also play my favorite game online on a smoking gun. Match the mugshot to the crime. So we're going to have a great time tomorrow at 8. And I will also be at Universal on Friday afternoon to go catch the Grinchmas Hula Day Spectacular.
Sounds fantastic. Folks, also check out Erica and Raph here on YouTube, a brand new channel that's just starting. And I saw a comment as well earlier saying that Erica is a genius when she was talking about the dissonance out there in relationships. Totally agree. Love our panelists tonight. Marvin, of course, will be doing the Macy's Day live stream tomorrow. Jonas J. Campbell is in charge of That Park Place, the YouTube channel. And folks, you need to check it out. I have a feeling he'll be talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's bodysuit real soon.
Yeah, The Rock is finally admitting. And he said, since you guys liked it so much, I'm going to talk about it now. Since you all loved that picture of me with a tattooed bodysuit. Like, okay, The Rock. I don't know what part of the internet you're reading.
I know what you're talking about here. And folks, make sure you check out Jay Drunk 3PO on his channel, as well as, of course, in all of the places he makes appearances. And he makes appearances in all the best places. We're glad he was schlumming it down with us today. Folks, listen.
I appreciate it.
We've got some Christmas festivity coming your way. We're going to auto-direct you over there in less than a minute. It is a merry, merry pro-Christmas, and we hope you will all join us. Again, if you're a member of the channel, on the community tab for the Pro channel, you'll be able to interact with me as we listen in to brand new holiday classics made by my team. How are they already classics? Well, folks, tune in and you'll see. All right, we're not going to do the typical outro. Jonas, bring up the last super chats, and then we're out of here.
That's right. All righty. Closet Disney nerd for 199. Disney no longer worth the time, money, or hassle.
Yeah, that's what many people are saying. I even heard an attorney today say it's too expensive.
Gilliam 2 gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships and said for $5 for anyone paying attention, I'm thinking they will just head over to Universal after Epic Universe opens. No splitting the week. That's the question right here. How long is it going to take for people to spend an entire week there? People will go to Islands of Adventure. They'll visit Diagon Alley. They've really got to work on Universal Studios over there if they want people to still pay attention to that with Epic opening up.
That's right. And thank you for the gifted membership. So kind.
Absolument. Aunt Jemima for $5. So glad to see you back, Aunt Jemima. Where does all this money go from? Oh, we talked about this already. From every
That's right.
failed project. By the way, this might be why ILM is still profitable over there at Lucasfilm. If they separated out the film division, the studio division from the ILM division, I bet that's where most of the costs and the revenue centers are for Lucasfilm. D Vader for $2. Disney needs to Batgirl Captain America. It's DOA.
And Snow White too. Thank you, D Vader.
I mean, all it would take is the let's see, the tax, the effective tax rate right now, 30-40%. So they'd be getting $100 million just to throw that thing in the can. And then D Vader gifted one WDW Pro membership.
And you know what? That deserves a bingo.
Bingo.
All right, folks, bingo, off we go. We're sending you to brand new Christmas music. We hope you enjoy it. There's stories behind everything. We'll talk about it. You'll hear me. And folks, go over there and have a good time. See you real soon. Everybody on camera, smile and wave, because my fingers, my shoulders, and everything about me is frozen. Just like